Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Junction podcast. I'm Mark, here with the other two co-hosts. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, welcome back.
Yeah, so we got another episode. What's this? Episode 74. So how's
Yeah.
y'all's week been so far before we actually get into it? Might be better just burn it with a little lighter or something like that, and you don't have to worry about it at all. A little bit of A, a little bit of B.
What news? What are you talking about? Nothing happened this week. Me? No, I don't know what you're talking about. A little bit, yeah. No, I just need to trim my beard so I can look like a 80s P star again. Beautiful. You look beautiful. You're
Yes, I know.
glowing.
Definitely.
Still tinkering with it, but I think I wanted to talk to you guys about new games and free games for the week. Maybe some titles that might be interesting to you. Maybe you didn't catch, that it released. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of mention a few games that have been getting a lot of traction. Um, you have Helldivers 2. Obviously, we talked about it last episode. It's an awesome third person view, basically uh, um, alien squashing. Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy. But basically, you can get in with a squad of four. You drop in. You're doing objectives, killing bugs. There's also like Terminator like creatures. So there's a bunch of things in that game. It's very popular right now. The devs have fixed the server issues, and it seems like it's doing really, really well. Also, on that note, they just found out that there's a game master for the game, which basically almost manipulated people into defending this planet that was getting taken over by automatons or whatever they call them. And there was apparently 160,000 players that visited that planet in a span of 24 hours, trying to basically give it some democracy, trying to liberate it from from
Yeah.
from the robots. And I just thought it would be cool to mention it again. And then also the Nightingale came out, which is like a survival-ish type of game with bosses. So it has like elements of Valheim, Ark, Minecraft. Like it has a couple of little elements from all those games, and it looks really interesting. I had a couple of friends play. They said it was great. So definitely check that one out. There's also for ARPG fans, there's Last Epoch, which is a basically like a middle ground between Diablo 4 and Path of Exile. So basically, it's not as crazy granular and complex as Path of Exile, but it's not also as bland as Diablo 4. In terms of like builds and things you can do, it has a cool story. It has like basically time travel. So it's not just a game you can just go and obviously you can go and click kill monsters, get dopamine, and jump out. But also there's a decent story behind it as well. They had they had a slightly rough launch with servers. They didn't expect to have so many players, yada yada yada. But now it seems all good. So check that one out. There's also Balatro. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's basically it's a roguelike poker game. So it takes some elements from previously popular card games that released in the recent years, And it has that quote unquote simple poker rules, but it also has, different spells, and you have health points, and it just makes it a little interesting. And it's been really popular on Twitch, actually. A lot of people have been playing it. And then finally, their specific drive. This one I'm excited about, and I'm probably gonna try to get it in the next 2 to 3 weeks. But it's basically like people call it like Stranger Things games, because it talks about, crazy paranormal activities and things of that nature. You have a car, you go through zones, you collect materials, you encounter crazy creatures. So for people that like thriller horror-esque stuff, it might be interesting. From my understanding, I don't want to spoil anything, but you're basically bound to your vehicle. And your vehicle, it has like a AI that talks to you, and it just it's a semi-casual game that you can kind of kick back and kind of just enjoy the world. And then finally, I did want to mention kind of every week some free games that you guys can grab on PC if you're on that platform. There is Space Crew Legendary Edition is currently free for grabs on Steam. And then there is Aerial Knights Never Yield on Epic Game Store. The Aerial Knights is a rhythmic side scroller, and then Space Crew is basically like a strategy mixed with something. I don't know if you guys ever played FTL, Faster Than Light.
I think I tried it
Um,
once, but my
yeah,
knowledge is really limited.
yeah, it's like a strategy building ish game. It's set in space, obviously, and I'm pretty sure it has co-op. Actually, I didn't. I'm pretty sure I saw people playing it in co-op. But it's one of those things that you can grab and you can. Um, oh, it's not okay. It just has multiple characters. I thought for some reason that it was multiplayer, but it's something you can pick up and try during the weekend. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't, but it's free. Hey, it can only cost you your time. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of mention a couple of games, because we don't really cover that type of stuff with news. We really focus on the big picture stuff. We focus on companies. So I just figured we could take like a few minutes every week, and I can kind of introduce you guys to maybe some cool indie titles that you can try out. But yeah, that's
I
it
do. What were you saying?
for sure. Yep.
I do have to ask, as far as the whole Helldivers 2, because there's some great memes coming out of it. Were either of you Malevolent Creek vet at all? You know what I'm talking about? I think it had to do with the. I think it had to do with the.
Malevolent Creek Planet has fallen.
Yeah, because I think it was one of the planets the automatons were attacking.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's all. I thought it was funny. Yeah, I don't know. It's whatever GameStop had. Yeah. No, but it's a game that I still want to get. It's just without squadding up with randos, or if you don't have like a 4-man stack, you're just squadding up with a bunch of random people, so hit or miss. But I do know I saw that. Funny enough, because I follow some military meme Facebook pages, they actually made like a little meme of it where it was like an actual like a ribbon for like, hey, you fought here. This is whatever. Because the military uniforms did have like ribbons on their stuff, and I just thought that was funny. For anybody that might actually get the reference or not, I'm sure both of you have no idea what I'm talking about. But
Absolutely not. But I do know whenever I see, people in the comment sections for the game, it's like everybody is having so much fun just role playing as a liberator, And
isn't there?
there's what go
Uh,
ahead.
no, I was gonna say, isn't there like there's like a big? It's less of a meme, more like because it feels like the actual the community helps create the lore, which I thought was really neat for like a live service type game. But I
Yeah,
can't
for
remember what the
sure.
dude's name was, but he's like he got real well known for essentially team killing other people, and then people kind of like started as like a subsect where he would just hop in and not let people complete the quest, like attack his own
Oh, he was
teammates.
like trolling them all the time.
Yeah, he's got a name. I know off the top of my head, I just can't remember what it is. Yeah, it is what it is.
If you're not a weirdo, what are you doing, honestly?
It's unique. No, but it's definitely neat lore. It's like a game that I haven't played, though it's on my wish list. I need to get it. I just have other stuff that I'm doing, and I don't have really the time right now to play it. But it's kind of like it's one of those games that I follow more for the ever changing world and the lore, kind of like Warhammer 40K. That's a whole other beast to get into. Is like I just like the lore of some of these games. Even if I don't play
Yeah.
them, I just find it fascinating, like what's going on with the community and stuff.
For sure. It's a very unique, and it seems like there's actually a lot of toxic people as well. I've seen so many. Yeah, like people are saying that now like people are getting kicked out if you don't play the meta build. And it's just like it's like a whole annoying thing of, gamers that are usually sweaty, like 14-year-olds that
Yeah,
don't
I
have
feel like
any other,
they're
any
everything
other.
else.
It's not even neckbeards. I feel like it's kids that just they take it so seriously. I used to be that kid, so I know exactly who it is because
So,
you don't have anything else to worry about in life. You don't have bills, you don't have anything. All you care about is to be, good at the game or to do good at the game. So it
that
sucks
makes
to see that.
No, I was just gonna say that makes me think of the whole back in the day, the whole 360 Modern Warfare 2.
Oh,
Just a
kids
toxic,
nowadays would not.
enjoyable. Oh
Oh,
my
yeah.
god, I go back and watch videos and it's like, I'm surprised this is even allowed on YouTube. Like this is,
Yeah, that
people just going
kids
after each
nowadays
other.
would
I
not
love it.
survive.
I think a lot of them would. Some wouldn't, but
I don't know, man. That was those days were wild. I have like probably 3,000 hours of Modern Warfare 2. I was in clans, like I did the whole shebang in that game. Yeah, yeah. That game was really good. Yeah, that sucks.
nobody plays it anymore. So why bother to moderate? But it's just hackers and cheaters and people that just like there's no moderation anymore.
Yeah.
I guess no, you can keep going with what you're saying.
Emulator.
Yeah. I,
Oh, nice. That's awesome. I think they're shooting themselves in the foot doing this stuff. Basically, inherently, emulators are not illegal. I don't think they have a lot of ground because it's not like, Yuzu is you know, selling the copies of the game or pushing it that you use it for this. Um, yeah, yeah. It's just software. It's software. Yeah, but and I cannot tell you how many comments I read on people saying like, "Well, I'm gonna just download Yuzu now and pirate Zelda because of this,
out
because
of
they're so ridiculous."
out of curiosity, how many of those, assuming that with the 1,000 or the million, whatever they're claiming, how many of those are people that uh honestly bought the game, and then because they wanted to mod it, they pirated it so they could play it on a PC, so they could do extra things or something like that. That's what I want to know. Obviously, you're never gonna really know, but
Well, it's not even modding. Like, well, I guess it's modding to play on like higher resolution, 120 frames per
yeah,
second. You know, if Nintendo really cared about their consumers, they would be a little more experience forward, is what I usually say. And we talked about this on this show like a couple of times. I know, Brandon, you're a big Nintendo fan, and I know you love all the franchises, and I love them too. But personally, I don't know. I feel like they purposefully release hardware that's not great, so they don't have to do big things, right? Um, I don't know. I feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot with this, but we'll see. Nintendo went through many, 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 many lawsuits, and they always end up being fined. So I don't know. It's such a weird thing, and it's always been an issue. But at the end of the day, let's just let people do what they want to do. I mean, there was this one developer, I can't remember who it was, but he said like, I would rather have people like pirate my game than not play it at all, right?
yeah,
And I think that's such a good thing, because a lot of times, like, I know people personally that pirate every new game, right?
Yeah,
They check
yeah,
it out. If they like it, they buy it on Steam or they buy it on Xbox, whatever. And then they have it and it's cool, right? It's almost like a trial, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. It's such a gray moral ground that it's really hard to tell. I
And
personally think they're not going to be able to do anything.
well, do we know if they're like what country that they're based out of? Because that's gonna determine a
Yuzu.
lot. Yeah, because like if they
Um,
were based in Japan, they probably gonna be screwed just because different laws. But obviously,
he-
international laws like some in the U.S. it would be it's a little different. I don't even know if they try to go after them anymore. But obviously, different
well,
countries have different laws.
yeah. I mean the Gary Bowser stuff. He was in the U.S. This is all it says. Yuzu provides any internet user in the world with the means to unlawfully decrypt and play virtually any Nintendo Switch game, including Nintendo's current generation and most popular games, without ever paying a dime for a Nintendo console or for that game. And to be clear, there is no lawful way to use Yuzu. This is a Nintendo statement, by the way. There's no lawful way to use Yuzu to play Nintendo Switch games, including because it must decrypt the game's encryption. Defendant must be held accountable for willingly providing users a means to violate Nintendo's intellectual properties rights at just or sorry, intellectual property rights at such a scale. The harm to Nintendo is manifest and irreparable. So, I don't
I don't know.
know a
That's a whole
location.
lot of it's a whole lot of legal speak, realistically.
Yeah.
It
Just
is. Yeah, I mean
but
that's straight from the lawyer, obviously.
they're obviously they're gonna make it sound like they're losing money. It's hurting. It's hard to tell. Obviously, Tears of the Kingdom made a lot of money for him.
Yeah.
I mean, millions of copies it actually sold. Realistically, of those
They're
that downloaded
fine.
it
But
illegally, did they ever really have an intent to get it on the Switch in the first place? Like, how much money
yeah.
did you really realistically lose? I
Yeah.
don't think it's as big as they're saying,
The
because most people just don't download stuff illegally. It's just
yeah.
not a very common thing. It's a very
Well,
niche thing,
it's not a
realistically.
well, you got to think about this. It's not a common thing in first world countries. I can tell you for a fact that, I mean, in Serbia, it's nobody's going to pay like a quarter of their salary to buy a video game.
Yeah.
Like,
And that
it's
comes
just not
on.
it's not realistic. Like,
That's Nintendo not
I
being able to price. But to be fair, I'm pretty sure most of their money comes from like places like the U.S., Japan, the U.K., China, and stuff like
oh,
that.
for
Like these
sure.
big
Yeah.
first world countries, probably the bulk of it. These if you're downloaded legally from a third world country because you can't afford it, like well, realistically, they probably don't even take into account this country's profit margin is probably so low.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
just they don't care about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
But it's Nintendo;
I
they're gonna do what they're gonna do.
they are, and yeah, I mean it's crazy. It's all crazy. I am curious where Yuzu is like located, where it's coming from. But obviously it's a worldwide emulator. Anybody can access it at any time. However, I mean we also got the Mig Switch stuff, which I don't think I added an update in here, but there was an update the other day, which I did buy, and I'm still waiting on it. It was supposed to arrive in in February from Russia. Um, so we still haven't received that yet, and that's a whole other thing. But like people are getting it, and like that's obviously stirred up a lot of controversy too. But I mean, obviously that can
For
be
people that
framed.
don't know, just remind us, like, it was the little
It's a cart. So if you know what an EverDrive is an FPGA cart that you can load up all the ROMs for the entire system on. So this is essentially a Nintendo Switch cart with an SD card slot. You can load up the ROMs that way.
yeah.
So one of the problems is there's a dumper so that you can dump your games. Really, what this is advertised as is a backup, to save your backups essentially. Because like,
Oh, yeah, I've seen some of these before where it's 'cause I've seen them for the now that I actually saw what you're talking about it's like a cartridge.
mhm.
I've seen them for the DS where it's just essentially a SIM card for usually how you
Yep,
download stuff to
R4.
play it.
You're talking about the
Yeah,
R4 card. Yeah, so I actually got to order one of those. But so originally when you ordered this, you could get the MIG switch dumper and the cart together for the $65 or whatever. Well, I'm looking right now. Now they don't package them together. Now you got to buy them separate, and the dumper by itself is like $50 now. I'm looking right now at somebody that received their dumper, and it's on eBay for $112. This is just a dumper to back up your
Capitalism,
game.
baby.
Um, so and then I see a MIG switch cart for $110 by itself. So you want to get them together now, you're looking at, a crap ton of money. But up
scalping.
Yeah, updates on it basically is that some people have received it. There are concerns that the rest of the people that haven't received it aren't going to get it because apparently they're having issues resourcing parts or getting stuff out quick enough. So, like their last update was they did a firmware update that improved some stuff. And their MIG dump tool is out, which a lot of like EverDrives have like dump tools and things like that that you can use to gather your ROMs. And yeah, essentially they're saying receive a lot of requests about the availability of our second product, the MIG dumper. It's a perfect companion to your MIG switch cart, which again, these were advertised to be together originally. Because I would never buy them separate. I think it's stupid. Expected at the end of February 2024. So we're here on the first. Some people have gotten them. Other people have not, and there is concern that the rest won't go out. But I read an article from a website called Wolo, and their update was they essentially said the Russian team behind the MIG Switch piracy cartridge for the Nintendo Switch has been sporadically posting updates, which we talked about. It says they're still behind for production, and they are confirming the final design for the MIG dumper. So people that apparently got like a 1.0 version and they're like revising it already, the dumper. So like people that haven't gotten it yet are getting this new version that they're still in production for. So that's where the concern of people who haven't gotten it, whether they'll get it at all.
I mean, they probably just undershot how much it's gonna sell. Is
Probably, yeah,
my
realistically.
I'm
guess. You know
sure.
what I
I'm
mean?
sure.
I'm sure you're gonna receive it. It's one of those things like Helldivers 2 launches. They don't expect to have 700,000 players.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm sure you'll get it.
Well,
I'd say this, but they're probably getting really good advertising from the community, from shorts and videos. How crazy that stuff is! Because I didn't. It's not a game until I saw content creators start making videos on it. I'm like, this actually looks like a dope game.
are we talking about Helldivers 2 again?
Yeah, it just
It
went
looks
back,
good.
but
We've talked about it so much and none of us have played it. Yeah, I can't wait to play it though. I legitimately am super excited.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this later, but I will say Final Fantasy 7, I got it today. So I'm pretty pumped about that. It's installed and ready to go.
Mark,
Uh
ready? Let's
what?
go Final Fantasy. We just don't play Final Fantasy.
You guys are
yeah,
lame, that's
I'm just
why.
not a Final Fantasy fan. But
Have
I'll
you
say this: I do like as far as the MIG switch goes, the thing we were originally talking about.
Yeah.
I do like how the advertising, the name, the cartridge, everything just reeks of this is Russian.
No, because it is.
It's
I
got the
mean,
old Soviet Star, the MiG. Obviously, it's got after the actual MiG aircraft and stuff like that. I just love the advertising,
I-
the logo, and all that stuff.
it is going to be a dope cartridge though. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Basically, you've got to. So I'm not going to use it on my Switch that I use now. You need to use it on a Switch that you don't take online because there could potentially be issues of them bricking your system, and they can see whether essentially when you have a cart in your Switch and you go online, say you play Mario Kart, they have a registered number for your cart when you're playing online. If you take the
Oh,
Mig Switch, you don't have a cart, you go online, you're getting banned across everything. So you're not going to be able to go online with this.
yeah, because there's probably some number, some ID in each
Yep.
card that they make that the online service has to register.
So I've got to get another Switch to even be able to use it. So I'll probably get like a Switch Lite or something.
Oh,
That's
poor
find one.
you.
I really don't want to, but I also didn't think about it until after. So hey, whatever.
I mean, you're still saving a ton of money, but great area.
I'm just
Just buy the whole second
I'm just
console.
backing up my games. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm just backing up my games, man. So we got next. We're in the small news right now. So we got Dragon's Dogma apparently has surprising adult content. Did you guys see this one?
Oh,
I
if it's adult
s-
content, we've all seen it. We have
Well,
to
I
see
mean,
it.
this is adult content or is this R34 content? Like, there's a difference there.
Well, according to a new rating, Dragon's Dogma 2 will feature some sexual content the player character may get directly involved in. Dragon's Dogma 2 contains surprising content. You can explore a vast world. I mean, that's about it. That's essentially what they tell us. It said involving the character and sex workers, according to a newly published rating by the ESRB. So
Yeah, you
players,
gotta spend that hard-earned loot on
So what you're
something.
saying is I can go to a brothel and just get a prostitute. That's what you're saying.
this game's going to be sick.
Can't you do that in like The Witcher 3 or some of the Witcher games? Like, was this?
Yeah,
I
you
thought we got
can.
past this when like the first Mass Effect game came out.
I mean, you could do it in like San Andreas, like
Oh yeah, every
yeah. I mean, you've been.
yeah.
I don't know. Well, it sounds like it's gonna be a good game though, man. I am like pumped for this. Did you guys play the first or Dark Arisen?
No, I didn't.
I started it. And this was before I had the patience for games like that.
Mm-hmm.
But now after I beat Elden Ring and beat Dark Souls 1, I'm gonna beat Dark Souls 2. I definitely am going back to that game for sure.
Just play Dark Arisen. You really don't. Yeah, just jump into that. That's what I mean. That's what I would recommend. This comes out in I think this month, right? Didn't it come out this month?
Mm,
I know there's a
I'm not
demo.
sure.
Oh, a demo on March 22nd. So, it's coming out soon. So probably April. I mean, a demo usually a few weeks later. Yeah.
The first game seems when the first game came out. What?
It's
2016?
pretty-
360. Yeah, 360 PS3.
Oh, it came
era.
out on Steam in 16. So
No. It released way earlier than that,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I pulled up the Steam page. And that's just when
Like,
it was
yeah.
uploaded.
I think like 2012, maybe.
It looks like an older game. From
I
what
would even
saw.
say 2011 actually.
It could be, yeah. Somebody look it up and let us know there in the chat. But yeah, so that game looks great. It looks great. So also other smaller news. We got our reveals for PlayStation Plus free games. So F1 23, Hello Neighbor 2, Destiny 2 The Witch Queen, and Sifu. Only one of those sounds even remotely good. Sifu looks pretty good, man.
Oh.
I wanted to pick it up when it came out, but the other three, Destiny 2, come on. Those are terrible. That's a terrible month of games.
Bungie's dead.
I mean, dude, you can pick up Destiny 2 for $2. I saw it at GameStop today for $2, $1.98. Like,
Yeah, they're in a gutter. They really messed up. Like,
yeah,
they could have done so many things differently, but they just chose to like be greedy and release crap. I don't know.
yeah. So to me, kind of a crap because Hello Neighbor 2, if I could be wrong, but I thought it was like an online only game.
Which one?
Hello Neighbor 2, isn't it like an
Mm,
Oh, is it multiplayer?
I thought
No,
it I
no.
thought the second one was on like you had to. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah, but I mean, like the first one was not much of a game, but like
It's
it's not
terrible.
designed for a sequel. It's just a niche small game. I didn't care for it when I played it.
I didn't like it either. I can't speak for the second one, but to me, it doesn't look. I mean, it doesn't look much different. Like I've got it on my Series X because it's on Game Pass. I never played it, but I thought it was. I thought two was an online game, but I could be wrong. So,
Yeah, I
uh,
feel like it's more of one of those like content games that they somewhat make with creators in mind, just like Among Us and things of that nature.
yeah,
Like I feel like
like a
it's
streaming
it's
type game.
yeah. I don't think it's necessarily, I'm sure it's cool. It reminds me of I don't know if you guys ever played it. I can't even remember the name of it, but it was like this old game and it had like 6 or 7 different titles, and it might have been called Crazy Neighbor or something like that. But you like sneak in,
Yeah,
and then
that
you
was
can
like the
like.
yeah yeah. I know what you're talking about.
It was such a fun game, man.
I played that. Isn't this like the predecessor? I mean, not the
I
predecessor.
don't
Like
know.
the
I don't know. It just reminded me, but I'm not 100% sure if it actually is or not.
yeah. I'd be curious to know because I remember that. I thought it was kind of fun. Not
That
necessarily my
was
type
really
of
cool.
game, but it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. So there's that. Nothing major there. I think it's a crap month for PlayStation Plus games myself, but
It's like
uh,
every month to me.
it really is right now. Like
I get the free games. I'm like, I'm never gonna play these in my life, but I have them in my library. So
I added every single game to my library too.
But wait, okay, so
Seafood
how does
looks
it?
good though.
But okay, so when they put it on that, and if you add it to your library, it's like always there,
yeah, so you
or is
add
it
it to
just for the
your
month?
No,
for
it's
that
always
month. If
there. Yeah.
you collaborate, said, hey, add to if you've got the subscription model, you say add to your library, and it's always it's not you doesn't necessarily download it, but it's part of your digital games library of games that you own.
But you have to have the subscription to
Yeah,
access
you have
them.
to have whatever version of their subscription to access the free games. But you
That's
have to have
so.
it if you're playing like online games anyways, so most people
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
have it to begin with.
That still blows my mind. I guess it's like once you're conditioned to that, you're like,
Well,
it is what it is.
yeah, and then like you obviously don't own them. It's not their premium service. So you can play those games if you don't have PlayStation Plus, those games. But if you have premium, like the all the retro games, you can't play those.
So weird, man.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't. I
stupid. Like I've done it. I played. Yeah, so it's dumb. It's really dumb. I deleted a bunch of stuff because I got rid of premium. Like it's not worth it. You're not getting enough retro games or enough
Yeah.
added to the service now. Plus, like I got that to play online, and then you do get those free games. So whatever. I mean, whatever. But on that, but the premium is ridiculous in my opinion. So,
Yeah,
uh,
no, that just blows my mind that that's
I mean,
still a thing.
they still haven't added PS2 games. Like, are you kidding me? They've added PS4 ports of PS2 games. But they've never added a single PS2 game.
I mean,
Like,
to be fair, most people are gonna pay it anyways, and I guarantee if they added their whole PS2 library, most people wouldn't play it to begin with. So they're kind of like,
ooh,
why
I don't
bother?
know
We don't
about
care.
that. PS2 out of all of them,
PS2, I would say PS2 arguably
it's the
had the
biggest
best
system
library of
ever.
games.
You might
Yeah.
have a surge, but as far as the long term, I guarantee you wouldn't see as high of a people playing those games as you think you would.
I think it's a crap service, period. But we also got other smaller news. Diablo 4's upcoming loot rework will be so massive, Blizzard will let you playtest it early in its first PTR. Do you know anything about this, Kurgle?
I do. I wanted to fall asleep when I was watching that live so bad. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking, man. It just I really I own the game,
Yeah,
it's
this is a Diablo
I
4
did
poster,
not
and
in
I'm
the
upset.
no,
right,
literally since
right here
since it
too.
launched, I did not see a single bit of news that made me like I was excited for season 3 because they're like, "Oh, we're finally doing different things."
Yeah,
And then like they released and I was like, "This is boring." Like I have no desire to play it. Essentially, it's just dog shit. I don't know. I can't find a nice word. It's I'm very skeptical, and basically like what they're doing is, oh, we're gonna put a PTR out to include you in the development. Just maybe read your forums, maybe read feedback, like, but they basically want free QA, like you're gonna go play it, you're gonna find bugs, you're gonna tell them, they're gonna be like, oh shit, we don't have to pay our QA people. Let, let's just get our players to
It,
test it.
it's such, I don't know, massive disappointment. That's all I'll say. Super, super big
Yeah.
disappointment. But this one, this is interesting. So I read all about this one. So Twitter banned RuneScape's account because it thought an 8-year-old created it. Apparently, it's from a joke 15 years ago. It caused some temporary headaches for the folks at Jagex. The official account got banned. It's since returned, but the reason behind its temporary ban was someone at the social media company thought the account was created by an 8-year-old, which would be a violation of the rules. On Monday, the official account for F2P MMORPG RuneScape, with over 320,000 followers, was quietly removed from the site. Fans online weren't sure what happened. It says Elon Musk's social media hell site had banned the official RuneScape account. So yeah, apparently there's some kind of joke. It said the profile was created in 2009. RuneScape used the launch year 2001 as the date of birth.
Jesus
So
Christ.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, pretty stupid, but kind of, I mean,
Or what you're telling me is somebody that the person that banned it played it, got scammed, and got pissed off at the game, and just like, I'm gonna ban your X account.
are you talking about me 20 years ago?
That could be anybody.
That was me 20 years ago. I would have, if I could have did something like
He was
that,
the
I
kid
would
that
have.
would fall for those scams. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
did.
right.
I did twice. Specifically remember both times. One time in person.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so all right. This is, I guess, one of the bigger news. But we are gonna break up after this into one of the segments there. But yeah, have you guys seen the EA news about Respawn and the Star Wars first person shooter and all that jazz?
I'm uh, pretty sad about that. Respawn does such a good job. They did such a good job with. I mean, even Apex. I shit on Apex nowadays, but it's a good game, and they must be super sad. Like I feel like they're one of those studios, even though they were bought. Like they're still one of those studios that are very passionate about making video games,
Yeah,
and you can tell that the base that they built for their games, because I'm sure they've reused code and systems and things of that nature. They care about it. They it feels polished every time I play the game. It felt polished. It felt good. It felt satisfying to play. Like, I don't know. It sucks. And then they released a statement, like the president or whatever, right?
yeah, yep,
Yeah.
And she basically said like, "Oh, it always feels bad to cancel projects or whatever." But
She doesn't care.
no, you know for a fact that they have the money for development. It's just that the CEOs are not going to get the bonuses as well as the upper management. And honestly, like, uh, just the CEOs and the upper management should get fired instead of just cutting down the little man that's doing the actual work. It sucks.
They're not gonna fire themselves. Why would they?
No, obviously not.
Well,
But
we're missing also what I would say is the bigger part of this. That, yeah, that sucks, but 670 people lost their jobs again.
Oh yeah, because I
yep,
saw that they
It's a
closed
layoff.
the
That's why.
well, no, they completely. I think they shuttered Ridgeline Studios.
Yeah,
yes,
they completely shut down
Yeah.
Ridgeline. So 670 more jobs, and we got more to add later. Yeah,
It's not
I
gonna
mean,
stop anytime soon.
it's just gonna keep going. I mean, that's EA, so we're talking about big companies. We're not talking about little companies either, which is crazy. And I'm pretty happy with some news that we'll talk about later. What I saw a company do, which is the way I think all these companies need to go that are under the bigger conglomerates. But I mean,
Yeah.
the thing about this that kind of sucks is that the guy heading this is the one that did the original Battlefront games. So, like, it could have legitimately had the potential to be really good. Like, those games were phenomenal.
Yeah, 'cause I think this studio did Burnout, Need for Speed. It also worked on some Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 24 and stuff like that. So they'd worked on a lot of their big games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then apparently IGN said that EA told EA, or EA told IGN, oh my god, that they're focusing on The Sims, Star Wars Jedi, and the development on Black Panther and Iron Man games. While the next Mass Effect game is at pre-production stage. That was their statement. So that's
Yeah,
what
we've known
they're
that for a
focusing on.
while.
God,
I mean,
Andromeda all over again. I guarantee it.
you know what sucks? Like Sims is one of those games that we all overlook it, but they make probably so much freaking money from those DLCs that
It's
it's
Mhm.
so
disgusting.
overpriced.
Sims
the
2
game's
Yes,
practically
pets.
free,
but
and then it's like,
here's
oh,
the thing.
here's a $40 DLC that you get some skins
People
for
buy
your
it.
face. Such a ripoff.
But listen, I have a IRL friend. My friend's wife. She she played Sims 2 for like 10 years,
Mhm.
right? That's all she played. She didn't care about like the new stuff. She was satisfied with playing that. And like a couple weeks ago, actually maybe like a month ago, she got a PC and she just went and bought Sims 4, right? And she didn't need it. She didn't really care for it too much. It's just she wanted to play Call of Duty with my friend. And then she was like, "Oh, I have a better computer. Might as well buy this." And then I was like, well, let me check out like the DLCs and stuff. There's hundreds of dollars worth of like cosmetic shit that you can buy in those games.
It's
Yeah.
just
And
Oh, I know.
reskinned
It's
yeah,
pennies
yeah,
on the dollar that it costs them to make. It's disgusting.
it's disgusting. Yep.
it's crazy. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember this, but and I have a bunch of them because I like yard sales and stuff over the years. Unfortunately, a lot of them I still have. But they would release those new physical Sims where it would be like Sims 2 Pets or Sims 2. They were
Yeah, yeah,
literally just expansion discs. Like,
yeah. It's
I'm
crazy.
trying to think of what else. Sims Nightclub, Sims. I mean, there were so many for like Sims 2 and 3. I'm sure Sims 4 has just as many, but there's no physicals of it. But I'm talking like just the physicals that I saw of those. They were in Walmart forever. I swear that I still saw Sims like physical ones like 5-6 years ago in Walmart.
Yeah.
Like,
Sims is the epitome of EA, who's just like, I just want to take all your money for
Yep.
no effort whatsoever.
yeah, it's disgusting. I mean, it's very unfortunate people lost their jobs, and the guy heading that Star Wars game was also the co-creator of Halo. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it had
And
potential
these
to
people,
really be a good game.
yeah.
For
And
sure.
one of the articles I saw, it says in the first 2 months of this year, you've seen about 8,000 layoffs. When last year you saw approximately 10,000 people all of last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
So
we're
like
only
probably in like the
we're
first
in 3
3
months.
months. Yeah, you're probably gonna see the equivalent of what you saw like all
Oh,
last year. It's crazy.
and we're talking about more here soon. But I will say, 1 year ago, in March, 1 year ago, they cut. Looks like they cut 980 people. EA did. So yeah, one year, more layoffs from EA. So
Yeah.
who would ever in their right mind want to work for EA again? Like, here's what sucks about this, right? What about the kids that dream of developing games? And now this is where we're at. Like, I mean, I was one of those kids. Like, I wanted to work in the gaming industry, and like, I'm glad that
So
I didn't go that route because I
I mean, you
end
gotta
up.
go the indie gaming route. Like that's where all the innovation. That's where you can kind of
Yeah,
control
but
your own
it's
But you
really
destiny.
make no
expensive.
money.
It's very
Yeah,
unrealistic.
it
It's
Well,
is.
it's not that it's unrealistic. It's like if you have the passion, you'll do it. But don't go full into the gaming industry. Have a regular job, and then on your free time, just work on an indie game. And if it takes
well,
off, it takes off. If not, you're not
for
putting
sure,
yourself
but
in
it's
a position to
it's
fail.
so time consuming. It's so draining. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm making excuses for those people, but there's a reason why only 0.001% of indie developers actually make something that a lot of people play.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
at this point, you know what the gaming industry is going to be like. It's all out there on the internet at this point. You have to accept that risk if you're going to go that route. Like
for
every
sure.
job field's going to have, its pros and cons. You just kind of have to figure out what you
Yeah.
want to do and just kind of go at it.
Yeah, but I also feel like, on the note of, why would anybody want to work for them? Sadly, it's like one of those things where a lot of people that work for Blizzard, they didn't necessarily even want to work there. They know they're a shitty company now compared to what they used to be, but
Hmm.
it's good to have on your resume, right?
Well, just wait until the news we're going to be talking about in a bit, because I'm excited about that one. Speaking specifically of that, yeah, I mean, people didn't want involved in the Activision Blizzard stuff when that happened. So
Yep.
it's crazy. Before we go to my next segment, we were talking about indie games. I wanted to at least shout this game out. So I partnered with Limited Run Games, and they sent me out a code for RZ, the Jewel of Fairmore, which is an indie game. And do you guys know what the CDI is? The Philips
Yeah, I
CDI?
do.
Okay. So this is meant to be a good version of the Zelda CDI games. And this game is beautiful, and it has the cheesy CDI cutscenes that we all have seen the pastas for, the Mario pastas, and that's all from CDI, right? So the Zelda games on CDI, well, now they're very, 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 very expensive. But they're also like, people say they're like the worst games ever. Like they
They are. They're terrible games.
well, I would say one of them is good because I had it, and Zelda's Adventure I thought was a playable game. But this is meant to be a good version of the Zelda games, and it's like really, really unique. Like, this is the type of indie stuff I want to see. Like, this is really cool. It's on every platform. I think it had something like it's got a 85 Destructoid, 80 out of 100 for Nintendo World Report. Pretty good scores for an indie game. I mean, 80 is good. Like, people, I hate the rating system because, like, if 50 is like mediocre, right? Like, that's the halfway point. But if people
Yeah.
see like a 60, they're like, oh, this game's terrible. Like
Yeah.
Spec Ops The
Yeah.
Line, like that was a game that got like not good review, or got those type of reviews. Like, that's one of the
It's a
best games
classic now.
ever.
Yeah.
One of the best games ever. So anyway, I wanted to shout out this Limited Run will be putting out a physical of this. You can get it now digitally on all platforms. It's on PC, it's on PS5, Switch, Xbox. So
Can we get it on Yuzu?
on what? Using funny guy. But yeah, this I've got it downloaded. I'm planning on playing it here soon. I might stream it or something, but I wanted to shout that out because it's really cool, and Zelda fans, I'm sure, would want to check this out. It's got those classic CDI cheesy cutscenes. I got a CDI, so like I don't have the Zelda games because they're ridiculously expensive, but I use a source to play games, so I'm not really collecting for it at the moment because I can pretty much access whatever. Um, but yeah, pretty cool stuff. So we will again jump into a brand new segment, and this is called Brandon's Retro Spotlight. And for this week, so Retro Spotlight, I want to anything retro. Doesn't have to be a game. But I did pick a game this week that maybe people haven't heard of that's really underrated, and surprisingly to me, I knew about some of the remakes and remasters and stuff for this game and like other platforms, but this game is on everything. I originally played it on Game Boy Color. Um, it's called Toki Tori, and it released September 26, 2001. Yeah, originally for the Game Boy Color, but it has since been brought in some form or fashion, whether it's a remake, remaster. There's several versions of the game. It's on Android, Linux, iOS, OS X, Windows and mobile, PS3, Wii U, 3DS, and Nintendo Switch. So this is basically like a 2D puzzle platformer type game, and it's really unique because it was like the first game to work, like at least the first game that I'm aware of to have puzzles sort of like this. And it's really it was developed by two tribes. It was their first game, and like it's considered a classic, like a cult classic. People talk about it all the time. It's been brought to all these other platforms and remade for a reason. But yeah, essentially you got to pick up these eggs through the levels and stuff, and carry them through, and it's like a puzzle platformer. If you played like Mario versus Donkey Kong, I feel like that game was kind of inspired by like this game. And yeah, a fun fact about it is that Egbert was released in 1994 for the MSX2 by Phony, the game developer. This game later served as a basis for Toki Tori when staff from Phony went on to found Two Tribes. So
Yeah, it
Cool
looks like
sum.
the newer version, whatever the remake or remastered, it's on Steam and it's on sale till the 4th for 84 cents
Oh, grab it. It's such a
from
fun
its
game.
original $5 game.
Yeah, it's really good. And a cool thing is that I actually picked it up because I didn't have the physical anymore. Limited Run reprinted like a Game Boy Color physical of it. So obviously you can't get it anymore, but I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, it's a classic. I say try the Game Boy Color version if you can too. But yeah, it's been remade. I haven't played the newest version of it, but I played the remaster on PS3. So
Yeah,
it the,
because
the
the no, I was gonna say the one that's on Steam, they released it in 2010, but off of 1,500 views, it's very positive. So everybody
yeah,
that's played it's liked it.
yeah, it's really fun. I mean, you play as like this fat bird that runs around the levels, and you just got to make your way through the level, solving little puzzles along the way, and collect all the eggs and all that jazz. And it's really cool. It's unique. It obviously inspired a crap ton of other games because there's so many games like it's Mario versus Donkey Kong isn't exactly like that, but it kind of works in that format. So it's interesting, and I remember picking it up again on the 3DS eShop. So like that's how I replayed it again to revisit because I had it as a kid. So yeah, that's my spotlight for the week, and just doing that to break up some news there. And we got Lurgatus saying, "Hey noobs." um, Noob. Oh, there's somebody in there named Noob. Noob Man 108 said, "I like Pokemon Go better." I'm not sure what that's in response to, but yeah. So
Got to it too late.
let's get into our main news. You guys ready? Who wants to start it?
Well, that we kind of
Real-
already somewhat addressed.
Yeah, we somewhat addressed
Yeah.
one of them. Yeah.
I mean,
All right.
there.
PlayStation laid off 900 employees, and you guys have seen this, right? I'm sure at this point.
Yeah.
In passing at this point, yeah.
Yeah, this happened on Monday. The EA stuff happened on Sunday, so like absolutely crazy stuff.
Just
So
keeps trickling in at this point.
yeah, so it's PlayStation London, and PlayStation London is essentially controlling the VR division for the most part. And we do have a statement here. It reduces about 8% of Sony's workforce for PlayStation. It says the leadership team and I made the incredibly difficult decision to restructure operations, which regrettably includes a reduction in our workforce, impacting very talented individuals who contributed to our success. Ryan wrote in an email to the staff on Tuesday. Ryan wrote that the decision to cut the number of employees was made as the company restructure operations due to the evolving economic landscape, changes in the way we develop, distribute, and launch products, and ensuring our organization is future ready in this rapidly changing industry. The timeline of the layoffs with vary by location according to the email. In addition to the layoffs, PlayStation's London studio will shutter entirely.
Beautiful.
I
We're making the most profits we ever did. It is the hardest ever to have a normal job that you can have a normal life with. Inflation is crazy, but yeah, how about we give you no job?
This pisses me off. Here's why. I don't know if you guys went this deep into it, but my buddy Smash JT made a video and he dived real deep into it. So it informed a little bit more. A few days before this announcement, Jim Ryan, which is retiring, like he retires in April, he went to PlayStation London and took a picture smiling with a bunch of the employees 2 days before.
Yeah, they knew
Like
what they're
this,
doing.
smiling.
He's
God,
like, I'm about
pull up the
you're about to
photo,
lose your
guys,
job.
and you'll get pissed off too. Pull up the photo. It makes me, oh my god, it makes me so angry. I do not like him at all. I cannot stand him. He's been at the company for a long time. Great. You've seen 4 console launches. I think he's actually seen all the launches, I think, since the PS1. Great. You suck. He sucks. That's all there is to it.
They
He
don't
sucks.
care. They don't care. They don't care. To them, you're just a replaceable piece in the machine. Like,
I mean, to me,
Yeah.
this is like, what's this saying? PSVR 2 is dead already? 1 year. 1 year. It launched in January of last year. We're at 14 months. Is
Nah,
that what you're
realistically, they're
telling
just
me?
gonna probably just shift development to other studios and be like, oh, you've got to make these games as well.
Here's what I think is going to happen. This is what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be the Vita all over again, and that third parties and indie studios are keeping the thing alive. That's what happened with Vita. Indie studios, limited run games, all those games, all those places that printed all those games for Vita. Like I got a new Vita game 2 years ago. Super Meat Boy Forever or whatever got printed on Vita, and it was their last one they did. Um, that got supported for like 7 years. It's like 4 or 5 years after Sony just completely cut support for it. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to get these indie VR games. I mean, whether indie studios will attempt to do that, they already are. Like I've played a couple on the PSVR 2, like silly, kind of crappy. And there's this one called like Cactus Jack or something. I have to look it up. It looks horrible, but it's kind of fun, and so it's like an indie game. But yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen. Cactus Cowboy. If you look it up, you'll see what I'm talking about. This is like a streaming game if I've ever seen one. But I played this, and it's gonna be stuff like this that keeps it alive. I think we will get some quality stuff from indie studios or third parties still. Like I've already got, what's the one called? Like there's some that limited run is printed like physicals of, and like I've imported a couple to have physicals of PSVR 2 games. So like there is games for it, but I could never justify and recommend buying this if this is going to be the case. Like I would love to see this thrive because it's the only VR I have, and I think it's cool and it's really powerful and it's good. So I I don't pisses me off. I'm so angry. Like it's like that thing is $550. I'm just guessing here that that's going to majorly impact that because PlayStation London was essentially controlling the PSVR 2. Like that was the headquarters for it.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Obviously the layoffs are more disappointing, but it's like what you go and take a picture smiling with the staff, and 2 days later you
oh, he
fire them.
definitely knew. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's probably why I was there to be like, hey, management, this dude's getting closed down. So
Makes
Yeah,
me so
yeah,
angry.
probably.
Have you guys seen Cactus Cowboy though?
I looked at some of the video on Steam, and it looked like a lot of those other VR games or those other games. I can't think of what it's called, where it's like a weird dude, but you can go around and
You
shooting
should just
people and stuff
shoot.
like that.
I've see this is my first one, so I have like minimal experience with VR, and I thought it was kind of fun for like a 30-minute burst or whatever. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, who cares? Who cares if it looks like shit? If as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters, really.
I just like I pulled this up about the Jim Ryan photo again. It just makes me so I'm looking at it right here. He's right in the middle.
Just don't punch the monitor. Just take a deep breath.
God, it it's so frustrating. It pisses me off, man. What is happening to PlayStation though? Like everybody's laying off, but PlayStation has like I don't know what it is. It seemed like after a, a year of the PS5 being out, like it was just issue after issue after issue. We're gonna raise PlayStation Premium up to this price where it's unaffordable, also like a shit service, and um eh, all the other layoffs, and like we're not putting out any games, and they said what they're not supporting any current IPs for the next however long, right? We talked about that last week. So like
Have like
Yeah.
a gap in their
I mean,
release
I think
cycle.
it's I think and if you follow the stock market, a lot of it has to do with the stock market. Like they they have certain goals they need to meet, right? To them it's all numbers. They don't care. They don't and they're not going to. They're never going to care as long as, as long as they're owned by the shareholders, it's never going to be a thing that's going to be genuine, that's going to be passionate, right? Like we talk about it all the time on this
yeah,
show. I feel like I yap about it all the time, and I'm sure
I
some
mean, for
people are
good
tired of
reason.
it.
I mean, for good reason though, and it's just it's frustrating. It's so
Yeah,
frustrating, and
Part of the
yeah,
problem when you brought shareholders into the gaming industry,
that's
you went from You
Yep.
cared about making games to we're just trying to maximize profits at any cost.
Yep.
And this is why I love retro gaming. This is one of the reasons because I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And it takes me back to a better time when companies actually cared, about the product and we got a full game and it's frustrating. Like, I mean, Mark, I'm sure that you feel the same way. Like when you fire up like one of your games or whatever that you still have, like it's just different now. It's different. Like,
I'm like, yeah. I mean, it depends on the game, but I still prefer to play newer games, newish games compared to some of the games I grew up playing. Because I go back, I'm like, this did not age well, like at all, compared to
Yeah,
like
some of
what
them
I've
don't
grown used
age well,
to.
but also on the other hand, like nostalgia plays a big part of it, and our memories of those
Yeah,
systems and games we used to play is it's just not the same anymore.
it's not. It
We're just,
it's
and we're also more aware now as consumers, right? When we were
we're
kids, we would get
adults,
it for
yeah.
yeah, like when we would get games as kids and things
you just
like
didn't
that.
care.
It's yeah, we're like, oh, we get a cool video game. Like, who gives a shit if a
I
little Chinese kid was coding it, got paid $1 a
20
day or some
cents.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you don't have that awareness
Yeah.
when you're younger,
Yeah,
but now that we are aware, it's freaking
I
sucks
mean, obviously I love new games too. We talk about it every week, but it's just frustrating.
for
So
sure.
we didn't talk about this with the EA thing, but it is 5% of their employees. Their head count right now is at 13,400 people, and it looks like they said that they are moving away from licensed IP in order to double down on their own IPs, sports and online communities. That's what they said.
Yeah, because and sadly, that's when we talk about like mobile games, people don't realize how much money they make. And
Hmm.
why do they make that much money? Because they have multiplayer, they have leaderboards, and you can pay to win. And when they say like our sports division, like they they're just gonna sell you packs and like stupid shit like that.
yeah.
And we can segue that into the stupid thing Pokemon did. God,
Stupid. Oh,
yeah,
well, yeah, I guess. I mean,
you know what I'm talking about. I'm
yeah, I
not
know
talking
what you're
about the
talking
new
about.
game.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so yeah, we'll get and segue into Pokemon. So I streamed Pokemon Presents. Obviously, I'm a big Pokemon fan. Mark likes Pokemon. It was we already knew we were going to get a lot of stuff. Like Mark, we talked about it last week. Pokemon Sleep, the Pokemon Cafe. I mentioned every single one of these. Pokemon Unite,
Yeah, you
Pokemon
did.
Masters EX, Pokemon Cafe Remix, Pokemon Sleep. So all that stuff. Skipping over that, we the I guess before the big announcement, we got Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket. Um, any thoughts before I dive into it?
Burn
Uh,
it.
don't they already have a game like that though?
They do,
Because
but
I
but
have
this
it.
is different. I have it
This is
too.
different.
This
They
is
get to take
different.
your money.
It's yeah, they're just doubling down on a product that already exists.
So, okay. Games Radar said new Pokemon TCG Pocket game feels like Nintendo's version of Marvel Snap. So you get 2 free packs a day. So obviously, this
Conditioning.
is this is a yeah. Here's what I think that they're trying to do. You obviously they're going to make money on buying extended packs. People are going to get, but it's the same thing as the physical cards. People open the packs, they get addicted to buying the cards, trying to pull the rare cards. It's the same thing in a digital form. What I think they're trying to do is merge the audiences, transfer people over from the digital over to the physical, and vice versa.
But they kind of already do that because when you
I
open
know,
packs, you
I
get a
know.
scannable for their Pokemon trading card game live service that's
S-
mobile,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
you can play it on the computer. Like they are that game already exists. So like I don't get why they're making a
Well,
second version of a game that they already have.
did you watch the trailer for it?
I
God,
I
it
immediately
looks
saw it and then I was like, oh, this is stupid. They already have a
Well,
game for this.
okay, so like I'm not like defending it or anything. I don't even play Pokemon TCG or anything right now, but yeah, they do have where you get that card when you open up a pack and get stuff like that. So I think this is a streamlined version of the game. So the point of the actual game is quick battles. So apparently it's a quick card system, kind of like Marvel Snap, where you can play like a game in like 5 minutes. So like that's the
But
deal.
the actual game that you play that follows the actual card game rules doesn't take that long half the time anyways. The game's designed to not take forever.
But this, you can zoom in on the cards and flip it around and look at the art.
At that point, just buy the
No
cards.
way. No,
Eh,
why would you be reasonable, Mark? We talked about this.
This
Don't be
seems just like
reasonable on this
a
show.
way. This is just a ripoff, is really all it is. Like, we want to
100%.
extract more money off a product that we already make that we want to sell to you twice.
well,
Yep.
there was concern of this being NFT related. So they made a statement about that. And I did a short on talking about that, whether that would happen, but they definitely could have did it. And I actually had 3 comments on Instagram, people defending that it made more sense for these to be NFTs so that you own the thing. I don't understand, but they were like defending the NFT argument so that they like own
Anybody
the
that
card.
defends NFTs is an idiot. That's the nicest way I can say that. I want to
Yeah,
be much more harsh, but I own a PNG that I can right click and save to my desktop. That now I have it now. Like,
I did
NFTs
a
are an out and out scam.
I did a short on it, and I gave my opinion. I was absolutely not.
There's no defending it. If you defend it, you drink the
You're part of the
Kool-Aid, and there's no
problem.
saving you. Yeah.
Yep. Part of the
Drink
problem.
Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid man burst in the room. Yeah. So they came out and said no, it's not an NFT project. No, we're not doing NFTs. Because there was a lot of
later, it's gonna come out that they're NFTs.
Mark called it 2 weeks later. It's actually, guys, we changed our mind. So these are going to be NFTs. You own this card image.
Yeah, we felt like it brings more value to you guys, and you're gonna be able to sell it, guys. Like, it's gonna be great.
To be
And I-
fair, I don't. It's like, would you really expect Nintendo and Pokemon to give away ownership of something? Like, I don't believe they would actually do
Yeah.
that.
True. Big true.
yeah, I mean, like, will you guys try this out?
No, I already
Yes.
have a better version of it.
Do you think that will stay around? That version
Unless
of
they're
it?
willing to transfer the hundreds of thousands of cards I already have on that version of the game.
100?
from
Jesus.
Just scanning. I've opened a lot of packs, and I
Yeah.
just get free stuff when I scan it over. So I get, unless it's gonna they're gonna transfer to this service instead. But I mean, this one's like the actual proper game, just on a digital version, because it's hard to actually set up in person, and then if you don't know all the rules, both the game's gonna help you kind of learn it as well. And if it's a streamlined version, it's not gonna be the actual proper game itself.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's weird, but I mean, the big announcement, obviously, which I am super excited about. I'm very happy that they did have one big announcement, and I think this is big. Obviously, Pokemon Legends Arceus sold bananas. People love that game. It did better than the next mainline game, which apparently the
Well,
Legends games are mainline games now. So, like, I
Well,
guess
to be fair, Arceus is like 1,000 times better than what's it, Scarlet and Silver, whatever it is.
Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah,
so
I don't respect it that I don't remember its proper name at this
Um,
point.
all right, so here's the thing. This game is there's some weird stuff around it. So if you watch the event, they made I wish I could remember the verbiage that they used, the exact verbiage, because they said it's going to release simultaneously. That's it. They said at the end, release simultaneously 2025. So that could mean simultaneously this is going on the Switch 2 and the Switch, or simultaneously it's launching worldwide.
That doesn't make any sense.
I mean,
Was it just a bad translation, or
It sounds like a
no, it was-
translation error.
no,
though,
it
so-
was-
right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It's releasing simultaneously with what?
I think
Yeah.
that they're saying that it's going to be a cross-platform game, because
But they would have said that, or why?
No.
Either you're going to come out and say it, or why say it? Why
not
mention it at all?
necessarily 2020. It's coming out in 2025, so not necessarily.
Well, then why mention it off? It's going to be default on the next. If it comes out on the next console, it's going to be on both versions, regardless at this point.
Well, the install base for the Switch is insane. So like I could understand why they try to do that. We got a lot of Nintendo like cross-platform games. So I mean like Twilight Princess, what else? There's been Breath of the Wild. Like there's, been quite a bit of
No,
stuff.
it's the statement itself that's confusing. It's not. I'm not talking about the actual.
Well, here's what it
Does it make
says
more sense?
exactly.
What's the exact?
It says Pokemon Legends ZA, an ambitious new entry in the Pokemon video game series, is set to launch simultaneously worldwide in 2025. And
Yeah, that makes no sense.
But that
YouTubers
doesn't make
took
any
up
sense though. Like
this.
it's
Yeah,
they're worldwide anyways as is. Like that statement to be like, is this mistranslation or is you just leaving intentionally being vague on that?
that's what I mean, right? That's the discussion. I mean, there are already probably hundreds of YouTube videos just talking about simply that statement. Like I've watched a bunch of Pokemon stuff after, and
I mean, maybe just clever marketing. Like you get everybody to make videos because
yeah, I mean,
we're assuming shit. You know what I mean?
yeah, it
So
used to be when in the Wii U era when I was reviewing games with Nintendo enthusiasts, they would copyright your video if you made any sort of content on YouTube about their games. Any, they'd take down your video. The Wii U and 3DS era early on, they wouldn't let you do anything. And you can ask, I mean, any beat 'em ups, all the big guys that do it now, they all dealt with that. So I mean, RGT85, he wrote with me, Nintendo enthusiast, same deal. Any gameplay footage, you couldn't put up gameplay footage. All you could put up is like 3 seconds of a trailer. You talking like another 3 seconds of a trailer. Like you couldn't put up any gameplay footage. You couldn't stream Nintendo games. Then they made this program where you could join their program to stream their games. So you had to like be in this program, agree to all their rules, and then you could stream the games. And it wasn't until the Nintendo Switch that that changed. Like
this
legitimately.
is this is
It's
why Pal World is doing well.
that's just bad marketing outright.
Yeah, I mean, you can do a deep dive on that whole era, but it was rough.
I mean,
If
it
you
makes sense why they were failing miserably.
Yeah, that era. I am very nostalgic for that time because I really like the Wii U, but man, Nintendo was rough then. It was like a dark time for Nintendo then. If it wasn't for the 3DS, I don't think they would have a console right now. Honestly, the 3DS sold gangbusters. The Wii U, they lost a lot of money. They only stayed afloat because of 3DS. Nobody cared about the Wii U at the time. Now they do. But yeah, I mean, anyway, going off on one of those tangents. Yeah, the game looks great. So, it's Pokemon Legends EA. We're going back to Lumio City, which was Pokemon X and Y, and the people think the whole deal with this is everybody was expecting a Pokemon Z after those released, like Kurgle. I'm sure you know, like we always got like the third version, Pokemon Crystal, Pokemon Emerald, Black 2, White 2.
Yeah,
That was a little
yeah,
different, but
I've seen a bunch of them.
yeah.
Haven't
So,
played any of them, but I've seen all of them.
will you ever play a Pokemon game?
I mean, at some point, I feel like it's one of those things where I really have to like dedicate time
I don't.
and
It's not really like one of those RPGs where you have to though. Like you can jump in and out of Pokemon.
I
Because I
know,
do
but
it.
what I have a really hard time doing in general, especially with RPG games, is and I used to do this before I kind of got into YouTube and stuff, but I would literally play a game for 100 hours. I would get to a difficult choice, like 70-80% through the video game, and I
Yeah.
would stop and I would never go back to it. And I hated myself for it.
I
Like,
do
That's
that now,
crazy.
bro. I like
yeah,
so Breath or not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. It's because my reasoning right now, this past year, is because so much stuff has came out, right? Like, so
yeah.
I, for some reason, have gotten to the end of like every game and stopped at the end point. So, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, I was literally at the very end, like probably 3 hours away from rolling credits and stopped and started playing other stuff. And now I'm stopping Tears of the Kingdom again, which I've been playing consecutively, trying to finish it up because I'm going to play Final Fantasy. So like that's the problem. There's just so many games. There's so
Yeah,
many.
yeah.
That
Also, adulting sucks, so you can't play for
that's
14 hours a day like a kid, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I do want to play them. I watch Pokemon like all the time when I was younger. I had the collectible like sticker album.
Oh yeah, me too.
I'll never forget when I was going back from school. It was like I was like second grade, I think, elementary school, and I I found like one of those packs. It's like a paper like plastic pack, and I was like, no way, they left the card. So I pick it up, and is it Professor Oak?
Yeah.
I pick it up, and it was the number two card, number two sticker in the album. So like the 1 to 10 stickers were the rarest, right?
Yeah.
And I happened to find it on the ground because somebody accidentally like pulled the stickers, and they left that last one in the pack.
That's
And
hilarious. I have a similar
yeah,
story. Um, the first thing that I saw Pokemon, because the cards came out before the anime launched here, so you get the
yeah,
cards first. I found a Leaf Energy card on the ground in kindergarten. I remember this in kindergarten,
Jesus,
and that was my introduction. I found it on the ground at school, and that was it. Just went off from
and
Yeah.
next. I had
since you were hooked.
Pokemon curtains. I had Pokemon bed sheets. I had Pokemon everything, wallpaper, like literally everything as a kid.
Started by picking up the most worthless card possible,
Hey,
or the energy cards, because they're so abundant.
it spawned a legend, man. I'm telling you, it spawned a legend. Um, but on that note, still talking about Legends EA there. There was an article I thought was kind of interesting. Pokemon fans think they know what the Legends EA starters will be. So they're saying that Snivy, Torchic, and Piplup, according to fan theories, because of some of the trailer was showing apparently. The theories are also based on their connection to the French theme of the Kalos region where the ZA is set, and a potential clue from a Scarlet and Violet DLC trailer. Fans are eagerly awaiting the official confirmation, which may come during an upcoming Nintendo Direct. Of course, we usually get like an April Direct, so I'm curious if
Realistically, I was gonna say realistically, you have no idea. You're just guessing.
yeah, I don't know if you do this, but there's a channel I really, really like called Game Explain, and they always do these trailer breakdowns. So like they watch it like 100 times, and
Catch all the details.
I love their channel. So one of those guys were on the podcast, Mark, before, and I think it's really cool. I like that stuff. Like I think it's cool to pick apart a trailer like that and like find every little detail that I would have missed, and like I don't have to do it, so I'll watch the video of those guys doing it and see what all I missed in the trailer. You know what I mean? And I did watch it like 10 times on stream. I went back after the event and we watched it again and again and again. I was trying to examine, see, because it was very vague. It was a very vague trailer. Like,
I'll say this: I have a respect for people that do that. Me personally was like, I personally don't care enough. I'm like, I'll play the game when it comes out, but it's like this game comes out in 2025. This game could be almost a full 2 years away from coming out. We have no idea how far in development this game actually is. It could come out first quarter. It could come out Christmas of 2025. Like this game is still, ways away. Who knows? Based off the trailer, there's certain things they want to do, and they might change some stuff. It's just like, even with the stars, I'm like, yeah, but like this game could be almost a full 2 years away from coming out. Like, why?
The thrill of the hype,
Why
man.
wait? Just, I don't know. Maybe wait till you're within a year of releasing before you start, teasing more stuff.
yeah, I get it.
I'm surprised that they announced it this far out when they said 2025, because I'm like, first thing that comes to
Dude,
mind,
I
I'm like,
was
okay,
surprised
the
too.
end of 25. Like, you're announcing this, what, a good 20 months out from when this game's probably gonna end up coming out.
Yeah, I was very surprised as well. I was shocked at that they announced the 2025 game, especially with Metroid. Like I don't see this getting delayed and them saying simultaneously. I think they've been developing this since Arceus, I feel like. And I feel like it's
Yeah.
probably working off.
It's also the Pokemon company, so that they're not jumping studios. It's Game Freak.
Yeah.
They're the
Thank
studio
God.
working on this, but
Thank
it's
God.
just, I don't know. That's a long wait to announce it this far out.
It
Feels like they had to announce something because they didn't
They
have
did.
anything else
Yep.
coming out in the next year.
You
So it's
nailed
like,
it.
This is coming, but you're gonna have to wait damn near 2 years for it. So
You
I'll be
nailed it.
patient.
I think that's why. I mean, look at the rest of the Pokemon Presents. Like if they didn't have that in there,
There wouldn't be a Pokemon Presents. There's
Yeah.
nothing else to talk about.
like Pocket
That
would
you
have been
just couldn't put out in another direct, pretty much.
Yeah. So Yeah, I think that's 100% it. They didn't have anything else to showcase. Are you shocked there was no Black 2 or Black White remake?
I am. So
Yeah,
I've seen
me
people
too.
be like, "I'm glad it's not on there because I don't think I don't want the whole Diamond and Pearl remake disaster." Which I didn't think. I thought it was overblown. It's just I didn't like
It's
the art style, but it's just the exact same games that
it's
you
the
got.
exact
But it's
same
like
game, yeah.
my only complaint is first of all we don't know when we're gonna get those remakes slash remasters. But it's also like I see people like they don't want it remade or remastered, but I'm like, there's no legit way to get these games unless you're willing to fork out like damn near
They're
$200
expensive.
on scalpers. I'm like, there's
Probably it's
no
probably on user,
easy
right?
way to get these games. Like all the older games now that are on the DS and the
They're all
handhelds,
expensive, all of
market's
them.
gone, so you can't get any of these games anymore.
Black 2,
Yeah,
White 2
facts.
is like a $200 game, like a piece. Like they're legit very
Yeah, it's
expensive.
frustrating. With
It
like the
is.
Nintendo or
And there
Pokemon
are
refuse to bring these games.
millions upon millions of these games. So that's the crazy part is that like there's so many. Now Black 2, White 2, like at the time, I don't know how to explain it. Like they sold and they sold more than the last, but they were like really overlooked and they came out when the 3DS was already out. They were DS
Yeah.
games. So like they came out, 3DS had already been out for like 6 months. So people were like, they moved on, from the DS, and that was the problem with those. And yeah, I don't know. It's surprising. I'm shocked. Um,
I just want
but
ways to play these old Pokemon games. There's no way to play them right now, and they're never gonna bring it out without remaking or remastering. It's just frustrating.
you know what? I would be okay with this. I mean, I would be okay with this, so I could buy it instead of having it attached to a service. But if they like released red, blue, and yellow like on the eShop in like a combo pack or something, you could buy it. I would buy that to have an accessible
I
version
mean,
of
So you
it.
guys own the physical copies or no?
Technically
I have
yes, but
EverDrive.
the only easy way I have to play them is I bought them on the 3DS store where they had the
Yeah.
original,
Yep.
not the
Yeah,
remakes,
so
which is
if you
unfortunate, but they had the
so if
original
you already
versions.
own yeah, so if you already own it, there's no reason why I shouldn't go to a gray website and just
No, but I'm saying for
download it
people
and
that
play it.
don't,
Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
3DS store has been shut down for several months now to like a year, so
Yeah.
you can't get these old games that you used to be. The DS is discontinued. You can't buy copies of even
Oh, I'm
like
sure you can find an
X and
emulator. Like at
Y
that
to
point, I
send
feel
in.
Well,
like it's completely justifiable.
there's R4 gold cards. So like the only problem with that is those games they're a little bit different. I forget what it is that there's an issue, but sometimes they can run some of the Pokemon games pretty poorly. But the R4 gold card is like the best option out there if you want to do or you can straight mod your 3DS and it's like software mod and it's pretty easy. I haven't done it yet. I'm going to because at this point now that the eShop's gone, I want to be able to play these games and I want to have a way to access them. So I plan on doing that. But you can there's a way to do software not emulation but like just completely mod it and you can load every game on your 3DS if you got a big enough card. And or most games, like whatever you want to
The
get. It's
the
really
only
easy to do, apparently.
the only problem with that is you can't transfer them between games. You can't bring them
Yeah.
to newer games. You can't bring
Yeah.
them to the Pokemon Bank and stuff like that. If you're trying to like create like a living dex, you're stuck
Yep.
with the games you have. Like there's so many Pokemon that you can't even potentially bring. Obviously, I never liked the decision, but you can't bring all the Pokemon to the newer games anymore. Even though the 3 models technically exist because they do it for Pokemon Bank, the work's technically already done.
Wait,
Uh,
I wait. What do you mean you can't bring? I thought that you were
like
able
with
to
Scarlet
bring.
and Violet, you can't bring every single
Oh
old
yeah,
generation, old
yeah.
gen
I
Pokemon to the
know.
newer games, even though the 3D models already exist because they have to do it for Pokemon Home. Every
Yeah.
Pokemon has a 3D model to some degree. Uh, but it's
Yeah.
like even you don't know what newer games are going to be allow you to bring newer and older Pokemon like around. But like if you wanted to build a living deck and just have potential access to every Pokemon in the newer games, and if you wanted to move them around, you're stuck with the games that pretty much exist on the Switch at this point. That's it.
That's
Which
why
is like what
Ennie's.
4 generations at best.
Yeah, yeah. And we have 5 Pokemon games on NSO, and they're obviously all spin-offs. It's like a bummer. Hey, we got 5 spin-off games, but none of the mainline games. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
the whole
get it.
point of playing Pokemon is to catch them all. Obviously, they went
Well,
away from that
I
because
was just gonna say like it defeats the whole purpose.
that's
Like
the whole purpose, like to collect
yeah.
them all. Like the
well,
game, even in that generation of games, it's
you
pushing
know,
you to collect them all,
have you thought
catch
about
all of them and
this?
stuff.
If they brought those games over to Nintendo Switch Online or whatever, you could bring them into Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 that are already on the service, and that would be a freaking blast to revisit. That would be so fun.
Yeah,
I loved that. I mean, do you remember the first time you transferred your Pokemon over to Pokemon Stadium and saw them in 3D? Like, do
never
you
had Pokemon Stadium, so I
uh
didn't have that experience.
you did it
Unfortunately,
with me. You didn't. I had it here.
if
Yeah,
we
the
did,
transfer pack.
I don't remember.
I even
It
specifically
was so
remember us
long ago.
playing Pokemon Stadium 2 and all the mini games. Remember it had a bunch of mini
We
games in
may
it.
have. It's just we did it once, and I don't really remember it.
Well, yeah, they had a transfer pack that you put on your 64 controller. You stick the Game Boy game in, and you could
I mean,
transfer your real Pokemon over to
I
Pokemon
remember
Stadium.
Pokemon's in 3D and all that fun stuff. It's just something that I never really,
Yeah,
for the most, more or less experienced. So it's just it's not a core memory that I remember.
too busy playing Jet Force Gemini.
64 game.
Yeah,
I do know the game off the back of my hand.
dude, have you played it on NSO yet?
No, I haven't played my Switch in like 2 months.
Oh, oh, it's worth going back to, but don't do it without don't do it without a 64 controller. It is
Oh yeah, what
god
the game
awful
is
without it.
designed for, which
Yeah,
means it has terrible. It's a third-person shooter, but
yeah.
everything's kind of designed around it, so it's kind of like a pretty much a spray and pray,
Well,
lock on target type thing.
yeah, I feel that way about all the 64 games I play on there. I'm glad that I
Which is
see. I told you I recommended it before. Just grab the Retro Fighters 64 controller. It's a better, new designed 64 controller that works. And I don't have that one setting right by me, unfortunately. It's over there, but they have one made for NSO, and it's really good, and it makes the games feel way better. But
yeah.
or you could
It's
buy the $150 scalped 64 Switch controller.
I'm just saying it's weird because some of these old games, you remember going back and like I never had problems, with the shooter controls, but that's all you play and that's all you're used to.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
you play more refined controls.
You don't
You
even
go back and you're
know.
like, oh,
You don't even
it's
know.
it's the same thing like when we went back and played the uh 007 game on the 64 when it was on NSO.
Yep.
You're like, oh my god, these controls are archaic, but I remember not having problems when I played this game when it came out.
Dude, it was god tier at the time. Like 007 was absolutely god tier at the time. That game
Minus your issues you had on the NSO
yeah.
with GoldenEye.
Yeah. Well, it's also on Xbox. They have it on there. It's better over there too, so but yeah, other than that, yeah, it was so much fun though. It's fun to revisit. It was cool that we got to do that together. So we've also got obviously yesterday Final Fantasy VII Rebirth came out, and I have seen nothing but posts about that game all day yesterday and today. What about you guys? Your feeds showing off Final Fantasy VII anywhere? You guys seeing it? I know you don't care about it, but have you watched?
I actually watched some gameplay. I actually watched the streamer
So
play
good,
it.
so good, so good.
From my understanding, it's not just a remake, and that's why they call it Rebirth because they added a bunch of shit.
Oh no,
and,
yeah, it's not a
um,
straight remake.
it looks really cool. I mean, as I said, like I want to play those games. I have way too many games that I would rather play before it. So, but I'm excited. I've heard really positive things about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you haven't played, so I talked about it on stream a couple of times cuz I had people ask and like, "Hey, can I just play this game?" So I made it to the home screen on it cuz I wanted to have it installed. It's 156 gigabytes with the discs. It comes with 2 discs. The first time we got 2 discs for anything like this in a long time. Comes with a data disc and a play disc, like back in the day. And it's 156 gigabytes with the disc.
That's crazy.
I had to delete like 7 things, like big games.
You know what? Because you said like the only thing I've heard, there's only one specific thing I heard about the game, and I think it came out in one of the trailers. Was there was a bikini scene with Tifa and
Oh
the
my
other
god.
chick, and
Of
everyone's talking
course,
about,
you would bring it
oh,
up.
in the original game they apparently shrunk down Tifa's breast size. In this game they brought it back to what it apparently original was. And that's all I've heard about people talking
They
about the
brought
game.
it
Of
back to original
course.
Are Tifa's
glory.
boobs. That's all
Unlike,
I've heard about this game. It's like the
un,
most nonsensical, has no impact on the game, but Tifa's boobs are all we care about.
unlike Rogue's booty and Laura's chest, we'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously I've seen nothing but positive things. Like I said, I got it, but I haven't played it yet. It looks really good. You said you watched gameplay, right, Kurgle?
Yeah, yeah. It's like a mix. It seems like a mix of turn-based and
It's both.
live
Yeah.
action, and it looks really cool. I mean, obviously the JRPG feel is very like, you either like it or you don't, and it has that heavy like, it's got great cutscenes, effects, the graphics look amazing.
Mm-hmm.
um
Yeah.
I'm personally excited for people to play it, because I know how, how hyped people were for the release of that.
And this, in my opinion, some people disagree, but generally most people I talk to agree with me because this is what I like, and I want to see this more. They did it with sort of with Resident Evil 4 remake, sort of. It still followed the same thing, but there were some changes. Well, there's big changes. It's like a real remake. Like it's almost like a reimagining, which I like. Like that's kind of what I want. A remake for me, like you brought up the Diamond and Pearl, like to me that is so boring. It's like the exact same game. It just looks better
It's a
and
money
barely.
flip. It's like and the thing is, it's not like they're changing like core gameplay. Like, for example, there's a studio that's working on Witcher 1 remake,
Yes.
and they're
Yeah.
gonna update the combat. They're gonna throw some systems out, introduce new systems. Like, I'm excited for that type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it's been lately just been like nostalgia cash grab for a lot of these franchises, and it sucks. Like, it's just, it feels disrespectful when studios do this, because they know what they're doing, right? Like, they don't need to even hire developers, because functionality and the way the game plays out is the same. So
Yeah.
it's even cheaper for them to just, give it to a designer, or, nowadays, what? AI can upscale anything, really, right? You can use
Yeah.
AI to upscale the textures, slap new texture files on, an idiot can do it. I could probably do it. And you're done. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. Like, you release a remake for $30, you put 0.5% effort into it, and you make a shitload of money. Like, business wise, it's genius.
Yeah.
But for a fan of a franchise, it's just like a slap in the face.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
only like complaint that I've heard is that they're doing this in three parts. So they're taking the one game and doing it in three parts, but they are changing the game in such a big way. Like if you played the very end of the last one and then played Intergrade, which was the PS5 upgraded version, but it had extended content added to it as well that is essentially added straight into this game. So like that's the definitive version to play because you get that extra story. Um, like they've changed it massively, which is cool. Like the story is entirely different. So I am hearing that like this is justified to do it in three parts and you get three cool games. You know what I mean? Like I get that, yeah, that story was all told in one game, but also you got to take into account there was like Final Fantasy VII manga that was extended into the story. There was anime movies, like there was other Final Fantasy VII stuff. You know what I mean? Like not just games that were telling story. So
I mean,
like,
personally, I would like it if did they specifically say that it's going to be a separate game?
yeah, three parts.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I, I don't know. I just, as a consumer, when I think about it, I'm like,
Well,
why
if
don't
they,
I just get a DLC that's like, if it's that huge, like maybe charge me half the price and I have to have the base game. Like, you still make a shitload of money.
yeah,
But
I get that, but I mean, like, that was a PS4 game, and that was, I mean, it's been a while now at this point. So like, they're taking their time with these games. They're putting in all the effort. Like the hype is, I mean, the hype is real on them. I've literally my feeds. That's it. That's all I've seen. I
oh, for
haven't.
sure. Same.
So like, people are excited about it. Like, I think if they do it right, and like, look, the last game, and like, especially if you got intergrade, like, you could put, 100 plus hours into it if you wanted to, like, to do everything. Like, you could. It's an RPG. Um, and then like intergrade added all the extra story. Like, there was an extra, like, I think 6 7 hour story or so. Um, so I don't know. Like, we'll see, but like, so far I've heard nothing negative. Like, I don't know what the Metacritic score is on it, but I've
Now,
heard,
who cares?
yeah, I mean, all I care about is
Can't
the
trust
audience.
any of the journalists nowadays, honestly, not even us.
Yeah, I only like the audience score. I say F everything else. I will say this though, I was
Yeah.
surprised. This is off topic. Dune 2, the audience and the critic score are the exact same. They're both at 95%. Are you guys going to watch Dune 2?
I probably will.
I'm going to
I haven't
go.
watched the first one,
Oh god, Mark,
so
so
I
good.
have no idea.
You
You would
haven't?
love
I've
it.
watched
You would
the
love
old
it.
movies from
Yeah.
like the 80s or whatever it is.
88 is when that first one came
Yeah,
out.
but I haven't watched the new one. It's one of those. It comes out and I was like, it's remakes, new stuff. Like I didn't trust it, so I never.
I
gave it
never
a
watched
chance,
the
a
original, so I
glance.
was very like excited to watch this.
I haven't read the
And
books, but I watched the old movies. And as slow as they are at times, they're still good movies.
Interesting. So the scores have changed since yesterday. I looked at it yesterday on Dune 2. So the critic score is now at a 79, and the user score is now at an 88 or 8.8 is what it says.
That's probably inevitable. The movie literally just came out like today.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Wait,
or
did it?
last night today. Yeah, the
Yesterday.
first.
Oh, really?
If,
Oh.
Yeah, it came out
It's
yesterday.
it's a Friday. That's usually when movies come out. Like
Mhm.
usually Thursday night is the initial showing, but Friday.
Midnight.
So this is the first weekend. So once the weekend gets through, we'll probably have more accurate
Yeah.
reviews as more people review it and go online.
'Cause
So like an overall accurate.
I can click and review it right now, and I haven't watched it. So I mean, that's how trustworthy that is. But look, I've Lee just went to go see it. He really liked it. Another buddy went to go see it. He loved it. He said he's going to go watch it again. So yeah, I mean, looks really cool. I was just curious if you guys had seen anything about that. You watched the first one, Kurgle?
Yeah, I watched it actually like 2 months ago or something like that.
Did you watch the original?
No,
Yeah.
I never watched the originals, and I'm a type of guy that if a story is good, I don't really care about the visual quality of it, right? Like
Yeah.
but and also like a big complaint from people is like, it's very slow burning, it's kind of boring, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the
But
story.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's how
yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah, and I really liked it personally. I don't know. I'm probably I would go and see it in the theater if I didn't have a baby. So I'm probably gonna have to wait like a week or two or maybe a couple weeks until it comes out to one of the streaming platforms, and just gonna slap it on 4K and try to enjoy it as best as I can.
You're going to
I
buy
might
the
get it.
4K Blu-ray though, right?
Probably not. I've debated on that shit for so long, and honestly, like, I get a few like physical stuff that I really really want,
Yeah.
but for the most part, I'm fully a digital nerd, and I really don't. I could not, especially now with kids. Like, I just can't.
Y-
I can't.
I don't
Like,
collect movies anymore. I bought the Mario movie, and I justified. I told myself I
I see.
like so many.
I seen that post. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I like 4K Blu-rays. I think they're great, but like it's the premier way. Streaming obviously reduces quality significantly,
Yeah.
even with their 4K on Netflix.
Oh,
But
that's not true. Yeah, that's not true 4K
no,
either.
it's not.
That's
It's
all
not.
upscale crap. But
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
at this
honestly,
point,
when I'm laying in my bed,
Do you
I'll
care?
take it. I don't care. Like, I
Yeah.
really don't care.
That's where I'm at. I don't collect.
It's
movies
worth it to me.
anymore.
Like, after like a day of running with kids, working, like doing all this crap, like the last thing I'm gonna like nitpick about is like that my image is not crystal clear, and that I cannot hear a character fart in my back right of my ear. You know what I
You
mean? Like,
just pissed off all the physical media collectors.
I know. One of my best friends is a
I mean,
physical media collector.
there's a convenience to it, but I'm kind of in between. Like I like physical media, but it eats up a lot of space. So like I'll get
Oh,
physical
yeah.
media of stuff I want to collect. So as far as like movies, I don't have a whole lot. Obviously, all my anime is fucking physical and it takes up like a whole shelf. But
Yeah.
I buy stuff that I absolutely want, but I'm like, it eats up a lot of space, so I need to, be kind of picky about what I buy.
For sure.
Because I used to have a lot of DVDs, but it's like I watched these movies like once or twice. And I'm like, I'm never gonna watch this again. I'm just gonna get rid of it. It's just pointless.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I
You
did.
realize as an adult that, I mean, unless like that's your job, if you're a collector, like
Nah,
sure.
I mean, to be
but-
fair, at one point I lost it, but at one point I literally transferred all my physical media into a digital library. Like I had it on one hard drive, and that took a shit several years ago. But I did do that at one point, and at this point I'm like, well, if I actually want to watch this and I want to have a copy of it, I'll get a digital
I'll
copy
find it.
somehow. Like it's
Yeah.
not hard to get digital copies of a lot of these movies and shows.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean that I just can't do it anymore with I have to pick one thing. You know what I mean? Like I just can't. Like games are already I already can't keep up with games. Like I don't need to add in other stuff. There's so many things that I love. I'm very big into Godzilla. I was collecting Godzilla stuff, getting statues, figures, toys. I've been through everything, I feel like at some point or another. And yeah, movies was a big thing for me, and I sold them all off. 1,700
Oh, speaking
movies.
of, sorry to cut you off. Keep going. I gotta show you guys something.
Okay. But yeah, so
Dun dun dun. Waiting noise.
Speaking of collectibles,
I want it.
G Fuel.
I want it.
I don't
gotta
drink
find
G
one.
Fuel. I don't drink G Fuel, but
Yeah,
I just thought this was really cool and it's very nostalgic for me.
I buy them too.
So
I bought the
yeah.
Sonic ones and Crash Bandicoot.
Where do you buy
Spyro.
like drinks like that at?
Gas station?
I
bro.
got this at Dollar Tree.
You got G Fuel at Dollar Tree?
I don't
Oh
even
my
have a Dollar
God.
Tree. I got a Walmart.
Dang, you're
and a
lucky.
Smith's, that's it.
They're like $3.50 here. They're expensive.
Yeah.
I gas stations. Almost every gas station seems to have G Fuel here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need to find it.
Yo.
I need to grab that then.
Maybe they start putting it on like water bottles and stuff. You gotta make smart decisions. I drink water.
Yeah,
Just don't drink smart water because that's the shittiest water you can drink.
Fiji.
Bottled water's bottled water. It all tastes.
yeah.
the same.
It. Have
It's
you guys
all
ever seen those
filtered
water?
crap unless it's
You ever seen
spring
those water tests? Like, have you ever seen
I
anybody do
haven't,
those like
no.
pH
Yeah,
tests?
like
and-
ionized or I
That's
know.
so
That's
dumb.
it's
Like,
all crap.
I think it's usually the smart water because I'm more often than not driving, and having that small little cap instead of it being
Mhm.
open, it's just a flick and
I
drink.
d-
It's just
I
easier to
drink
drink
it.
when I'm driving.
I drink it sometimes.
Like,
Just
I'll
don't.
drink any bottled water. I prefer
don't
it not
drink-
to be in a plastic bottle if I could afford it. It's just
Yeah.
easy when I'm on the road and I need something to drink when I'm
have you-
driving for 3 hours.
Have you guys
Why
had
don't you just be
the
a
canned?
white girl? Look, just be a
Well,
white girl. It's broken.
Do you
but-
really have a? Is that a Stanley?
not a
It's
Stanley,
the
I'm not
TikTok shop one, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know which one. No,
I mean,
I
I've
got
got
it at
one.
Five Below.
I've got one of those, but it's
I
only
want
for
one.
like hot drinks, and I hardly ever use
Oh,
it.
you're talking about like the Stanley. I have a Stanley thermos from the '90s. Yeah, those are good to put like soup and stuff in.
Oh, that
That-
shit is.
You gotta make yourself
Dude,
a
I grew
wooden
up
thermos.
with.
It's good.
Oh, I
Might
grew up
leak
with
a
all
little
those.
bit, but
I mean, I grew up when we took lunchbox to school with a thermos in it. So
most people still didn't do that. I mean, I remember doing it,
I
but
did.
it's just you end up eating this terrible school lunch. You're like, you're giving this to kids. Like,
yeah,
oh, it's
there's so
disgusting. All
our
those little
school
cheese
was
pizza sticks.
yes.
Oh, I love those. They're terrible. No nutrition at all.
Yeah, no nutrition. What are they
Who
thinking?
cares about nutrition, man? When you're a
There's
kid,
no
you're
nutrition in
fine.
this school.
You know what we
post on
had?
it.
You know what we had? Like it was the weirdest thing now that I think about it. We had you guys know like the paint tubes, like the metal ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my cafeteria in my school in Serbia, they used to sell like a hazelnut like spread, like almost like Nutella, but you would get it in this tube and it would be like this big and we just eat that straight up. No bread, no nothing.
Dang.
Like I don't know. I mean, how did I eat that? Like I just the
I
thought
don't-
of it now, I want to like throw up, but
I remember having some terrible school lunch because it's like
all
you
of
get
it
your
was
normal
terrible.
money for lunch, but it's like you scrounge together a few extra quarters. Like, I'm not eating that school lunch. I got enough money. I'm gonna get 3 honey buns out the vending machine. And that'd be my lunch some days. Like the iced honey buns. Like, oh, it's terrible.
ugh.
It's like almost 2,000 calories right there, and you're just like, yeah, no, I'm gonna eat this. Is
This
obviously
is the good shit.
the same nutritional value that they're giving me in this school lunch. But I remember
Uh,
remember being in high school just having some terrible lunches because I was like, I'm just gonna have a vending machine lunch today. Screw
Dude,
you.
I did the same thing. Yeah, the honey buns and yep, that icing so bad for you. So
Oh, it
freaking
was
bad.
so
Oh my
good. I can't.
god.
They're disgusting now, but I
They
love
are.
them in high school.
See, I'm the same way because now all I taste is that sugar. Like it's like straight sugar. That's what it tastes like to me. Like
And it's like I can just feel. I'm like, I feel terrible.
okay, so let me tell you a funny story. This is totally off topic, but when we were in school, Mark, I don't know if you remember this, but I won't mention last names, but Cody, let's say Cody, brought a bag full of sugar, and we ate the whole thing of sugar at recess, trying to get as
Jesus
hyper as
Christ.
we could. Like he brought like a sandwich bag full of sugar, and we ate the whole thing.
That's
We ate the
disgusting.
whole thing during recess, the entire thing.
What grade was this in?
I think it was like fourth grade. Must have been
It
fourth
had to have
grade.
been before you got into
Third
high
or
school, 'cause
fourth grade. Oh yeah, it was elementary school. I specifically remember we went in the spaceship, the playground spaceship,
Oh
and
my
ate all
god,
the sugar.
you needed to hide it from the teachers.
We got put on the wall all the time. That was our punishment. You got put on the wall and you had to watch everybody else play
I think that happened
all
once. You
the time. Yes,
jumping
I
off
was
the
going to
back of the
mention.
slide.
I was going to mention that. And then, do you remember when I broke the giant tree branch? Do you remember that? I fell on my back. I was climbing the tree, and I fell on my back.
Think so.
Gigantic tree branch fell down on me.
I remember though. I do. It wasn't. I think it was in high school. That's some cross country meet, and I don't remember who it was, but somebody jumped to kick a rotting branch, and their foot went over it. And it just broke, and they just fell straight down. I remember that happening. I remember getting in trouble for climbing the tree all the time.
That's funny. Brenna said,
Crazy.
my school had Papa John's and Subway brought in. Dang, got it
Oh,
made,
yeah,
Talking about
man.
the rich bougie school, I'm going to like the poor school out in the boonies.
Dude, yeah, we
Yeah, I
were in
remember
the.
her telling me about
Whole
that.
children in the because every like 3 years it's like there's corn, literally surrounded by cornfields. There's like, hey man, this is
We
like,
I used to get in trouble for climbing that fence. Like deer would come up to the fence and stuff sometimes. Do you remember that?
yeah.
Like we'd see deer just come up to the fence. Like we were out there. Like we were in the country.
They're
So
selling shade for 10 cents.
yeah. Thank God you brought it up, man. I went there to go visit. They demolished our school, Kurgle. They demolished it. It
Oh,
was
that
from like
sucks.
1890, and they just
a really old
upgraded. It
building.
was really old, and they completely demolished it. Like my daughter got to go there for first grade and kindergarten, and now she's in a new school, so she got to see the school I went to, that we
That's
went
really
to.
cool.
But yeah, I went there maybe like 3 weeks ago. I was driving back from a doctor's appointment and came that way. Like I don't go that way very often, and I just stopped there and like I took videos, like checking it out and reminiscing, because I instantly, the first thing I ever think of is selling shade. You weren't allowed in the tree shade unless you paid us, and hot in the summer, real
Exactly.
hot.
You ever watch a show called Ed, Ed and Eddie?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much we watch that all the time. There's like, hey, we're gonna just
Try
scam
to do
people
this.
for some money or something like that.
Scams. Any scams we could do for jawbreakers, man. That's what we did though, man. We were wild. Like did you have any like crazy school stories in Serbia, anything like
Well,
that?
it was more. I mean, I always got in trouble. We could talk like for hours on end, but I do have a story with a friend from my school. Um, Basically, he was a family friend. And his family knew my aunt's family. Basically, that's how we knew each other, and we
Yeah.
went to the same school. So we go to this family like event, and we're like same age, and we were the only two kids that were the same age, and everybody was either too young or too old. And so we were just hanging out, and it was this like courtyard basically where people would go in. It was connected to a restaurant, but to get to the restaurant you have to go to the courtyard, right? So we're like, let's just start charging people for entry. So we started taking, I mean, dumbasses, like we were like 8 or 9 years old, out of like a just complete joke. We were there the first because we were like closest to the family, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, let's just start like checking. We would check everybody's ID, and they thought it was hilarious. Like, we need to see your driver's license, you know? So they would like see it, and it would say, the entrance fee is like, I don't know, like an equivalent to like $2, right?
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh yeah, here you go." By the end of it, we had a stack of money like this big, and it was basically like three days worth of adults working
Oh god.
that we collected. So it was like the best day ever. And then we talk about
Crazy.
it in school. We had like lunch money for basically like 4 weeks after that. It was great.
Mark, do you want to tell about our business and when we got rich?
I don't remember what happened. It's something like, hey,
I remember
we're what, we're like
everything
10,
about it.
12, we're gonna start a computer repair company. So just go around like you need a computer repaired by some kids that realistically couldn't fix shit realistically. And I
That's
don't remember
smart.
who it
We made up
was.
sheets and everything to
Yeah,
give out
and
like
then
tech repairs.
some parent or some mom or like, oh no, but here's $20 to help you get your business going.
We thought we were rich. Like we like
Also, the
legit.
end of our business right there. It was
Yeah,
like,
that was it. That was
fantastic.
it.
We're gonna go get a pizza and rent. I think it was some Dragon Ball game or something like that.
Yeah, I think we got.
Nice.
I think we got Budokai or something. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
That was our business. We scammed
More or
so
less
much.
just bumming for money, pretty much.
I had a little business. I think when I was 9. My dad used to work for this music festival. It's one of the biggest music festivals in Europe.
Fire
It's
festival.
called No, it's called Exit. It's in my hometown, and it's all the like it's one of the bigger ones in Europe. It has like 56 different like stages. So no matter what type of music you listen to, you will find something. But long story short, my dad used to work there. He would get the promo material, so all the free shit like
Oh, that's sick.
promo CDs, keychains, hats. Like he would get all that stuff for free. He would bring it over, and then I would take it all and I would sell it on the hood of his car. And I used to like make a good chunk of money for a 9-year-old. Like
That's
it was
awesome.
freaking awesome. Yeah, yeah, it was
I
pretty
love
cool.
it. I love
That's
it.
crazy.
So we broke up the podcast there for that. We do got before we get into some other bummer news. Mark, you have a segment, right?
As I scroll way down, I guess. A little more like.
Does that do we have a name?
Guess is this
Do we
just
have a
like an
name for
obvious?
it yet?
No, this is something that I just kind
Alright.
of came on the spot, but more like less gamey, more I guess more anime,
Yeah.
something related. So I know there was some stuff coming around. I know recently, I don't know exactly how long ago, but fairly recently, there was and you watched a show or an anime called One Punch Man.
Yeah. Yep, I've seen a little bit.
So something happened. They finally got a we finally got a third season announcement like years after like the second one. It's like this huge break between seasons. So it's like, hey, this is
How long are the episodes? The seasons?
probably like around 12 episodes for a season.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Hmm.
many volumes or like chapters of the manga it actually covers. But
Gotcha.
It's still
about
ongoing, right?
12
The
episodes.
manga?
Yeah, I don't. It's not the. I don't believe. I haven't really read the manga a whole lot, but I don't believe it's like one of those weekly ones for like the chapters. So it's not like the fastest
It's
moving
not in like
manga, but
Shonen Jump or anything, right?
yeah, where it's like the like One Piece where it's like this new chapter like every week type thing.
Yeah.
But I know it's been a few years since we've had a season where it's kind of like, hey, is this dead or what's going on?
Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't to be honest, I'm not caught up or anything. I didn't even know it wasn't still running or
Actually,
anything
because
like
I
that.
do remember because it's on your hat. There is the newest uh Demon Slayer movies out in theaters. It's not my local one, but I saw
Yeah.
it. They were showing it at one of the XD, the big theaters, one of the local ones.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the subtitled one, but it was like one of those big movies that came out in theaters.
I want to see that. There's a new game as well coming out that I want to play. I haven't played. There's this one on PS5 from Sega that I've been wanting to play. I still haven't picked it up. It's like a game I want to get for like, like 15, $20, but it never seems to go below like $30. And like if you look it up now, I'm like looking it up. $50 on GameStop. For some reason there's a listing on Walmart for $85.95.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so I've been wanting to play this,
Crazy.
but unfortunately, I'm just not paying that for it. It's not like it looks fun, but it's not a game. To me, it's not a $50 game. But awesome on that. So to jump in some other, we got really bad news, and then we got really interesting news. I'm very curious on everybody's take on like I'm happy. We'll go with the bad stuff first because it kind of goes sort of together. But Supermassive Games laid off people as well. Um, it's interesting because they're the developers of Until Dawn, which is getting a remake right now in the process, as was announced this year. And they did all the Dark Pictures games, so they laid off 25 to 30% of their staff, and there are only 150 employees at that studio. But like they've done, yeah, they did all the Dark Picture games. They put out a statement, and I'll read their statement. Like this is their official statement they put on Twitter. It's no secret that the game industry is currently facing significant challenges, and unfortunately, we aren't immune to this.
Oh my god. Sorry.
After much deliberation and with deep regret, we are therefore undertaking a reorganization of Supermassive Games.
Mm.
As a result, we are entering into a period of consultation, which we anticipate will result in the loss of some of our colleagues. This is not a decision that has been taken lightly, with many efforts made to avoid this outcome. We are all too aware of how unsettling and difficult this process is going to be for all of our employees, and we will be working closely with all of those involved to ensure the process is conducted as respectfully and as compassionately as possible. We're committed to focusing our efforts on our core strengths and upcoming titles to ensure the continued sustainability of the company. So, I find that interesting that we're literally getting a remake of this game that was just announced.
Yeah, they finished the work on it, and now they're like, okay, we don't need you anymore. You know,
Yeah,
Goodbye.
probably a bunch of QA people, probably a bunch of low tier developers,
Yeah.
people that were probably super excited to work for a game company. It sucks.
yeah,
It's
that.
just,
Yeah, I mean, just nobody would want to get into the game industry
but
now.
how are
Like
they? How are these big studios like they're all talking about reorganization, which is BS. Like it
PR
literally
speak.
feels like, yeah, but it literally feels like they got together. They're like, we're gonna fire all of these people. We're gonna give money to the shareholders and upper management,
Yeah.
and yeah, like who cares? We're gonna pretend like we're doing bad, right? Like it's BS. I don't know.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's just very shocking that literally we're getting this remake and the layoffs happen. It's just it's crazy. I mean, we got Build a Rocket Boy was last week, and Riot Games, and like obviously Twitch earlier this year. There's so many I can't even remember. Microsoft too. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it looks like some of their upcoming titles are Little Nightmares 3, the Dead by Daylight spinoff called The Casting of Frank Stone, the Dark Pictures anthology Directive 8020, and obviously the remaster slash remake. So, um, yeah, that's pretty crazy. So, with good news, at least I think good news, and I think this is going to be the move. I think this is what is going to shift, and this could be the start of a wave of a shift of the industry. Activision Studio Toys for Bob's is going Toys for Bob. Toys for Bob is going independent after sweeping Xbox layoffs. So they are leaving and going independent, and Toys for Bob is actually pretty big. They're bigger than you think. They did all the Skylanders, but they also did, obviously Spyro and Crash and all of that stuff. So like they did Crash 4 and then the Spyro trilogy, which I don't know if you know sold gangbusters. It's one of the highest selling Switch games, and one of the highest
Yeah, that
selling
one did
PS4
really
games.
good.
Yeah, and it
Yeah,
was
that one did
fun.
really good.
It was fun. So yeah, anyway, they've been creating content for Call of Duty Warzone for a long time, and like they came out and said that they were doing like trash cans and like stupid stuff. Like that's what they've been doing. So like they're unmotivated and don't want to do that crap. They've been working on Warzone for a while. Like literally making trash cans and like the crap you see that nobody cares about in the game.
Yeah.
So they're going independent, and yeah, I mean, I think that's great. I think that's the move. Like, especially a studio of this size and like what they're doing, like they've got stuff coming up. I think I think this is really good news. I think this is really good news because I think this could be, um, you know, part of a shift coming for these studios, because I think this is what most of these studios need to do, in my opinion.
They need to be really lucky. They need to have a private investor or something because it's a very risky business. It's a business that costs a lot. So, they were probably just in a fortunate position where they could afford that, but I don't think a lot of studios are in that position, unfortunately. That's why they get absorbed by these bigger corporations. But I I agree. It's a great move. I think it's going to benefit them a lot. Um and hopefully we see more of that.
Yeah, I just think, like, I agree with you. I do agree, and I mean, with these layoffs happening, like if these companies are laying people off, like that's a reduced cost there. I think if they make the move of not putting these millions and millions of dollars into games for stupid stuff that we don't care about. I brought it up over and over, like actors in Call of Duty. Like nobody cares about that. Like actors
Yeah.
in like it's so stupid. Nobody cares about that. That would save so
Well,
much
well,
money.
correction. I feel like correction. I feel like no real gamer cares about an actual face as much as they care about the actual game, right? But if you're just some Billy Bobby that never plays video games and you see, oh, there's cool actors on there, maybe I'll try it. I feel like that's a different story. But I agree. Fundamentally, like that shouldn't be the selling point of a video game. It should be the actual gameplay, the actual fun in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, like, to add to the Toys for Bob, I found this interesting because this just broke today as well. Actually, it looks like 25 minutes ago. Crash Team Rumble will turn off microtransactions in the final update on March 4th. Toys for Bob is no longer developing the game, but Activision will maintain the servers. Final update introduces a free 500 tier battle pass with previous season content included. So,
No, that's nice.
yeah. I mean, that means it's going to be shut down soon. That's what that
Yeah,
means. I mean, it's an
yeah,
online only
right.
game, so as far as I'm aware, I think it's online based game. Yeah, it's online 4v4. I didn't know if it had like non-online
There.
play, but it doesn't look like it does. So, yeah, interesting. With them moving, and that's they were doing all the crash stuff, so that means that will be shut down in about 6 months. Is what
More or less.
that's what that means. So that's absolutely crazy. Yeah, I do hope that these studios start to make that shift, because they were really excited. Like in their statement, they said, over the years, we've inspired love, joy, and laughter for the inner child in all games. We pioneered new IP and hardware technologies and Skylanders. We raised the bar for best in class remaster in Spyro Reignited. We've taken Crash Bandicoot to innovative, critically acclaimed new heights. With the same enthusiasm and passion, we believe that now is the time to take the studio and our future games to the next level. This opportunity allows us to return to our roots of being a small and nimble studio. To make the news even more exciting, we're exploring a possible partnership between our new studio and Microsoft. While we're in the
Oh,
early days of
okay.
developing our next new game and a wave away from making any announcements, our team is excited to develop new stories, new characters, and new gameplay experiences. And it goes on a little bit more about our friends at Activision and Microsoft have been extremely supportive of our new direction, and we're confident that we will continue to work closely together as part of our future. So keep your horns on and eyes out for more. Thank you to our community of players for always supporting us through our journey. Do you guys remember the Spyro thing we reported on, where they made that like vague post of like it seemed like we're getting a new Spyro game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what's up with that.
I mean, maybe they already finished development and they're just gonna hand it off, or they got paid for the project and um the other studio just gonna release it. I don't know. Now that you said the Microsoft thing, it sounds like a silent partnership, right? They might be like doing like exclusivity deal or something like that, which is fine as long as they make decent games. I think that's cool. Even though I think exclusives are dumb, but that's a different topic.
Yeah.
Um, But the one thing in their statement, I know it's PR talk, but it's very, very important to touch on, is they want to be a small, nimble studio. What a lot of people don't realize in software development is there's so many hoops you need to jump through when you're like answering to a bigger company, different values,
Yeah.
different
Yep.
tiers of hierarchy. Like there's a million different things that you have to talk to person one, so person one can talk to person two, so that person can talk to person three, and
Yep.
yada 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 yada. And what this does, it makes you very slow in development. You need to get approval for everything, and I feel like if they got fed up with that, it's a great move for them, and I feel like they're probably gonna thrive now.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
mean,
cool.
yeah, the Microsoft thing is kind of interesting. I don't know what that means exactly. Partner. What?
Yeah. Well, if they're saying partnership, that means that they own a part of it. Now, if they're saying they want to be a small, like nimble studio, my assumption is that essentially silent partnership is basically they will share their profits with Microsoft if it's a silent partnership,
Yeah.
but they get to make all the decisions, right? So, I'm sure that they probably could have worked out a deal with Microsoft that says like, as long as we're doing good, if they're confident that they do good, which it seems like they are, they share a percentage of their profits with Microsoft, and that's pretty much it. That should be the end of story, and ideally, that's where they stay and they don't get fully bought out or anything like that. So
Yeah. That
sounds like
makes
an exciting
sense.
times for them. Yeah.
Well, you got to hop off, right, Kurgle?
Yeah, I'm gonna hop off, unfortunately, with the baby. Gotta make sure bedtime is there. Um,
Joys of parenting.
but it was, yeah, joys of parenting. But it was really fun, guys.
Yeah.
I love talking to you too. Unfortunately, Lay couldn't join us,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm sure Brandon and Mark are going to stay here forever now and talk about a million different things. I always go back and re-listen, and it's always nice to hear you guys chat about things. And I hope everybody enjoyed, and I will see you all next week.
All
Have a good
right.
night,
Well,
guys.
we'll see you later. Have a
See
good
you
one.
there.
All right. So, yeah, it looks like as well that I don't know too much about this one. But I mean, I did watch Stargate. Actor
Yeah.
Chris, you want to go into that one?
Oh yeah, because I was just scanning around for some other stuff, and it's
Yeah.
actor Chris Gaither. I don't know how to pronounce his
Yeah.
actual last name. That he died at 48, and this was posted 2 days ago on the 26th. So I had no idea.
I didn't either.
Uh,
Yeah.
this was posted on a website called Gate World. It's like if you're a Stargate fan, they talk a lot about that. But I primarily know him from a show called Eureka. He
Yes.
was
Yes.
the
Yep.
chef
Right.
in that show. He ran
I
a little
remember. Yep.
cafe.
Yep. I love
I
that
know they
show.
said he was in other shows like Sanctuary, Supernatural, Smallville, and a bunch of other stuff. Like he's done a lot of TV stuff, but and I think in Stargate he was in Stargate Arc of Truth, like one of the last to DVD movies that
Yeah.
series did.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently he passed away on the 23rd at the age of 48, pretty young.
That
It's a
is
sad
very
passing. He was
young.
didn't know a lot about him personally, but he did a lot of stuff that I definitely enjoyed him being in.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah, I mean Stargate for one. Like I loved Stargate. What SG-1, Atlantis. What else was there? I know for sure I watched all of those too because my
There's another
dad liked
show that
them.
I can't think off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't either. And wasn't there there was a movie too, right? Wasn't there a Stargate
Oh,
movie?
it's SGU Stargate Universe, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, Stargate Universe is the other series.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is very sad, unfortunately. That's a bummer. Yeah, he was in a lot of stuff that I watched and you watched, obviously.
Yeah,
So
man, I definitely watched both. He was a minor thing at the end of Stargate, but definitely in Eureka. I never watched those other shows, but I definitely watched Eureka growing up through like middle school and high school. And I love that show.
oh, me too. Me too.
Kind of
Um,
itches that sci-fi where it's like, hey, it's based in a town called Eureka, I think in Oregon. But it was like, hey, we're
that sounds
developing
right.
super high tech, usually military stuff, but it doesn't necessarily, trickle out, but that's kind of like the whole concept
Yeah.
of the show. You have your Joe Schmo sheriff who doesn't know anything, and he's just stumbling around with people that are just playing smarter than him.
Yeah, that's a bummer. That is young. Very young. So was there a cause or
I don't know if they put it on there. It's just like he passed away as far as the article, and he was in these things, and he leaves behind a wife and some kids and stuff like that, which is unfortunate. But I mean, he died pretty young
yeah,
at 48.
that is very young. That's a bummer for sure. Uh definitely definitely love the Eureka and Stargate for sure.
Yeah,
Big fan of
some of
those,
those
so
one of those bummer things, but more like the B to C list actor. So not a lot of people probably know about it, or it's not going to make the media because it's not some
well
Hollywood
we'll
A-list
showcase it.
celebrity.
We care.
Yeah.
So, in other news, it's not so sad. This was interesting. The latest episode in movie and TV news, the latest episode of Simpsons featured a Mario Kart Rainbow Road parody. Did you see this?
I don't watch The Simpsons. I didn't realize it until I was going through some of these notes for the show. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if
Yeah,
they got like official permission or it's different enough to where they can just kind of get away with parodying it.
I think that it's the different enough stuff. It was really dumb. I watched it. It was really stupid. It wasn't good. Like, I don't keep up with Simpsons. I only watch that to watch that scene. But if Simpsons, all the Simpsons is like that now, ugh, it's gone downhill. I
It's
didn't like
been
the episode at all.
going on forever. And speaking, because we were just talking about Stargate, there's an episode, I think in season 8 of Stargate SG-1 where I don't know if it's the voice actor or the creator of The Simpsons does a cameo in that show.
Really?
Because the Richard Dean Anderson, who plays uh, Jack O'Neill in that show, is I want to say he's an actual fan of the show, but his character makes a reference that he's just a fan of The Simpsons. Obviously, this is late 90s, early 2000s. It's completely
Yeah.
different Simpsons then, but I thought that was kind of like neat and unique, and didn't
Yeah.
realize it at the time.
Yeah, that is interesting. Huh. Yeah, so I recommend checking that out just to watch it, but it's I feel like you'd have the same opinion there with that episode because it was not good at all. I was thoroughly disappointed. I was like,
Yeah, so the episode's called Citizen Joe. The character's name is called Joe Spencer, but it's played by Dan Castantea, or however it is,
hmm, interesting.
because he is actually he's the voice of Homer Simpson. Okay,
Oh, okay. We probably should have known that.
I don't watch The Simpsons, but I was like, I knew about the episode because I've seen it before. And there's a direct reference to it, not in the show, but because he likes it, and they brought him on for an episode. I just couldn't remember if he was the writer or he's like a voice actor or something like that.
Yeah, I got it. Makes sense.
Apparently,
Yep.
he does the voices for Homer Simpson, Abraham Simpson, Barney Gumble, Krusty the Clown, Sideshow Mel, and apparently himself in the show.
Interesting. Well, that's
But
some good stuff there then.
some minor from 20-year-old shows at this point.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
There was something that I did see. Apparently, Final Fantasy VII, because we were talking about it earlier, the Rebirth.
Yeah.
In Asia, there was apparently a misprint that was released.
I bet that's going for some money. What was the misprint?
And this is coming from Anime News Network, so they just say Asia. So I don't know if it's just the region or what specific country. But apparently, if the game's physical copies were labeled incorrectly. So apparently the data disc was labeled as play disc, and vice versa. The play disc was labeled as data disc. So apparently it's the physical
Gotcha.
version's 2 disc, and it was kind of mislabeled. So if you put in the wrong one, it was not going to work properly.
With collectors, I am legitimately curious if that is going for. I guarantee it is.
That would have to, especially if they noticed it probably relatively quickly, and the ones that were already sold are out there. But I'm pretty sure they said, "Hey, stop selling these games until we fix it." Like,
Oh,
pull 'em off the
absolutely.
shelf, I guarantee. So that's probably. I don't know if you're going to be able to find a handful of probably unopened ones, but even if it's open, like if you could get a hand on a minor misprints on anything down the road, go like skyrocket. It's a very limited issue. Like, there's nothing wrong with the disc, but the label misprint eventually is going to be sought out after collectors.
It cracks me up that it's a 2 disc game. You get a whole data disc. It's still like 150 gigabytes. Like I'm
It's
like
just
so confused because Blu-rays hold a lot of
that
data.
has to be a big game. It has
It's
to
I
be.
mean it legitimately is
Very
massive.
detailed 4K type stuff. I mean, it's very
It's
very well
beautiful.
rendered.
Beautiful game.
It's just got to be. It's probably one of those games where like we can't make it any smaller. It's just that big of a game. Hopefully, it's just not poorly optimized as far as the
That
compression goes.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm wondering, like how they dealt with it. I mean, you add in compression, you automatically are deteriorating, the
Yeah, but
work.
obviously, I mean, everything's compressed, but compress it to a point where you
Yeah,
don't lose. You
you
can
don't lose
compress stuff.
fidelity and you don't lose,
Yeah, obviously
resolution.
it's different with games compared to just dealing with computer files before. But
Well,
I mean,
it's like the size of like Warzone, which is, I mean, that's
yeah.
like the biggest thing out there. You know what I mean? It's like the size of that, and that's a
But I
massive
think
multiplayer online game that's huge. And
yeah, in that part of the optimization process is cutting down, removing stuff that doesn't need to be in the game from when you developed it instead of
yeah,
hiding it way off. Remove stuff because
like they
that
used to.
adds to the data size and stuff like that. Now I think they just maybe they just don't care. So like, well, hide it to where you can't see it, and if it's big, we don't care. Buy extra storage. Buy extra storage. It's not that expensive now. Which
I don't care. I've got a terabyte SSD in there, and I still had to delete 7 things to install it. It
terabyte's
doesn't
not as
go.
big.
It doesn't go that far. It doesn't go
No.
far. I mean, I do need to upgrade it, but I'm more worried about other stuff. Like, unfortunately, I'll just have to be okay with deleting stuff for now. It's a bummer because I had to delete like good stuff. I don't have like a bunch of crap on there, so sucks. But I even have an external hard drive too for my PS4 games. So like all the PS4 games I get, whether it's PS Plus or my games or whatever, like I put them on
Yeah.
there, and then I put the PS5 on the terabyte. Plus I have system storage, and I'm still out of room. So my external was 2 terabytes. And obviously it's only for PS4, but it's just crazy,
It
absolutely
is crazy.
crazy. But yeah, that's interesting. I did not see that misprint. I guarantee I'm curious on eBay what that's going for. I'm really, really curious.
It wouldn't
Um
surprise me if people start selling it and the price just skyrockets.
so apparently this is a rumor. New Sonic Fall Guys game name revealed has 32 player matches. A new leak reveals the name of the rumored Sonic the Hedgehog spin-off inspired by Fall Guys, featuring multiplayer that can support 32 players. Midori leaks details on Sonic Toys Party, allegedly in development for 2 years, with plans for social and IP collaborations. Gameplay videos show Sonic characters in 32 player matches with obstacles, bosses, objectives, and more. So, is there gameplay out there for this? Or yeah, there is.
Be nice to see.
There's like actual there's like actual screenshots, and it doesn't look bad. Like it looks
This is
good.
like a cheap cash grab, pretty much.
It looks good. Yeah. Look this up. Sonic Toys Party. Very interesting. It says
What is it again?
Sonic Toys Party. It says it'll include Sonic, Tails, Shadow, Knuckles, Dr. Eggman, Amy, and Metal Sonic. So I mean I
I'm
obviously
getting a bunch of like toys you buy at Walmart popping up.
I type in game. I would type in game, but yeah, yeah, that's what happened to me too. I see it if you scroll down. There's a rumor. Yeah, it looks game rant. Interesting. They've got some screenshots on the article. I'm trying to see if there's a little bit more. It looks like maybe they're the first. Looks like they updated an hour ago, so that's interesting. That's some news for sure. I guarantee that will do really well. So the leaker on Twitter said there are social elements and over 30 players on one stage. Sega Group IP collaborations, including Persona, are planned. This is a title in development for 2 years, with the goal of creating a free-to-play Sonic mobile live service game for a global audience. Oh, God. I just hate when I read mobile and live service and they're together. I didn't know it was mobile. Yeah.
I have a question because I don't know if you talked about it before, but have you ever played a game called King Fighters 13?
King of Fighters?
Yeah, the King
Yes.
of Fighters 13. Have you
Yeah,
talked
just
about that recently?
I have not, but I just pre-ordered King of Fighters 13 today on Amazon because I went up for pre-order. But what's
Yeah, because I
what
did just see that where the pre-order was being launched by Limited Run for Switch, PS4, and maybe PC, or is it just the two?
yeah, just the two. And so the
Or is
big
that
deal
like a music disc added onto it that I'm seeing?
I'm not sure. So limited run works with Amazon for some games now. So like it popped up on Amazon. I'm not 100% sure if is there a music disc with it? I didn't
I
check
saw
it.
another
It's only
disc. The problem is
$40. It's only $40. That's how much I paid
the
today.
actual picture is really low quality on their site, but obviously it says it's will include a metallic box, the game. Oh yeah, the game's
I'll look at
official
my
soundtrack,
Amazon
a
order.
double-sided keychain. Yeah, so it's an actual soundtrack.
I bet the limited run site version is different than what I pre-ordered. I have to look, but yeah, that would be really cool. So 13, the deal about this is one of the things that they are doing with this is, do you know what uh what's it called, the netcode thing? I forget what it's called, but it's essentially where they go back to some of these fighters and they add it's called rollback netcode. And so what that does is it attempts to line for people playing over Wi-Fi, playing online multiplayer, to
Yeah,
align it as if you are playing right in front of each other. Like it does its best to optimize everything being on point, because on a fighting game that matters, right? Like if
yeah,
you're playing online, like you have to really be there. I mean, there used to be fighting like Super Smash Brothers, for instance. Like you played like Brawl online. Oh my god! Like but yeah, this is adding that rollback netcode, so like that's one of the big deals about it, and it's the global match version, which means online. Essentially, they add that to the King of Fighters titles when they add online to it. But yeah, look, the teaser trailer looks really really good. They're adding and changing compared to the original release, but we can at least presume it'll come packing all the previous DLC characters and items. It's being developed. Here's what threw me for a loop, and why I got upset about this today. So I got a little bit upset because I was shocked that they are not offering this for PS5. Like this seems like
oh yeah, it's PS4.
PS4
That
and
is weird.
Switch.
Like,
That's
why
it.
not? Why not? I mean, obviously you can play the PS4 on the PS5, but
Yeah, but
that's weird. Why the PS4 specifically? Unless it was, I don't know how long ago they announced it, but it was originally announced for the PS4. But the PS5's been out for like what 3 4 years now or something like that.
3 years, yeah, and so that yeah, we're going on 4 years. So yeah, it's it makes no sense to me, and like that seems like
Oh,
for a fighter, like that makes sense to opt. Yes, you can play it on the PS5, but if it's a PS4 native version, that doesn't matter. You know what
unless
I
they're just
mean?
trying to maximize, like, well, the PS4 is such a big install base, and you can play it on the five. Let's just maximize, the market that we can sell it to in one go without having to add another copy of the disc that we have to make.
Yeah, I don't know. I did switch. I went with Switch. If there was a PS5 option, I would have went with that. But I just don't have interest in buying physical PS4 games that much. And um,
I mean, I'll
yeah, this
buy it
is
for games that came out on the PS4 originally, just because I can
yeah,
easily play it on the PS5. But if it's like a newer game, why just
yeah,
get the better version of the game?
yeah. That to me that makes absolutely zero sense. So that's kind of a bummer. Hopefully, I'm sure that it will, considering it's an older game. I'm sure it'll run fine on the Switch, and that's okay. That's if it's not PS5, usually my second choice is just go with Switch. Like I'm
Yeah, fair
sorry,
enough.
but I'm not buying a new PS4 game that should be on PS5. I'm not doing it. That's just me personally. Like that makes no sense to me. The install
No, no,
base and
fair
stuff
enough.
is, and what's weird is limited run all the time offers a PS4 and PS5 version all the time with their releases. So like, why this one? One I care about. You're
That's a
not
good question.
offering it. You're not offering it. Like,
Yeah,
that's a
right.
bummer. That's a huge bummer, unfortunately.
It really is.
But yeah, it's craziness, and it is. Yeah, like I said, it's up for pre-order now. You can get that on limited run. Limited run also has, I wanted to mention as well. Obviously I brought up the game earlier, RZ. So they are publishing that game. Is actually one of the guys from Digital Foundry. Do you know that channel? Massive,
I don't really.
massive
I know what
gaming
you're
channel.
talking about. It's just not a channel that I go to a whole lot.
So one of the guys on there is actually part of the he helped develop the game. So it's really interesting, and obviously I think he's working for Limited Run 2 now in some capacity. So that's really interesting, and they have we knew it was going to happen. Absolutely knew it was going to happen, and I want this so bad, but I think that they said we were getting a day one patch for the game, but there's this really, really, really cool collector's edition for Contra Operation Galuga, and I want it so bad. It looks so cool. It comes with NES style box inside of it. Like it looks just like the original Contra. Um, has these figures in there that are really cool that have like accessories and all
Yeah,
kinds of stuff for the characters. You get these dog tags. You get a steel book, you get an original soundtrack, an art book, you get a metal pin. You get quite a bit in this collector's sticker sheet, a dust. You get a dust sleeve as if it was literally on the NES. That is like an NES dust sleeve. That is so cool. It looks really awesome, but what I don't like is the price necessarily for that particular collector's edition. It is called the Ultimate Edition. So that one is on Xbox, PS4, Switch, and PS5. So that was actually
yeah,
they're doing an Xbox one for that. So that's kind of interesting. If it doesn't have smart delivery, then I would actually might go. Oh, yeah, smart delivery. Never mind. It's just a key on a disc. Makes
yeah.
no
Pretty
sense.
much.
That okay.
Which just is
Look,
so stupid.
look. So I buy a lot of stuff from Limited Run. I have over the years. And to me, they make physical copies for games that wouldn't otherwise get physical copies. But why are you making a physical copy of a game that's not even on the disc? It's got to be. I mean, can you explain that to me? Limited Run Games. We're making a physical for a game that doesn't have a physical, but this game is actually not on the disc.
It's like what's the point? It's like the whole Fallout 76. Like, it's why bother printing out a physical if it's just a download copy or a
Yeah,
download key? Like
like
it's pointless.
Overwatch and all those. Yeah. So weird. High on Life is getting a collector's edition though, which I found really interesting. I think we mention that last week.
I thought we
It's
talked about it. I don't know about the collector's edition.
we talked about the game for sure, but
Yeah,
this one's $100. So for collectors, it's a little bit on the cheaper end. It looks like it comes with some interesting stuff. Uh, some like squishy thing, I think. Oh, stress ball. It comes with a stress ball, a knifey keychain, soundtrack, art book, sticker sheet, poster. The game's really good. I am glad it's getting a physical. Like I wouldn't mind owning like the standard physical of that. You said you haven't got to play that yet, right?
no, I haven't.
Gotcha. One I will 100% be grabbing, and apparently I've got to do it real soon because they got their last chance on there. Is Rocket Knight Adventures? Did you ever play that game?
Haven't. No,
So it was
I don't
on
even
the
know what the game's about.
it was on Sega Genesis. It's a 2D platformer. It is really really fun. It is one of the best, in my opinion,
Oh,
one of the best games on the platform.
it
And
was on the Sega, so by default, I couldn't have played it. I didn't have a Sega Genesis growing up.
well, it got a I can't remember if it's like a sequel or a remake on the Xbox 360 and PS3 digitally. Like there was no physical of it. And
Yeah,
I played it not that long ago cuz apparently I owned it for a long time and I didn't even know, and it really really fun. I was blown away at how good that felt. Like it almost felt better than the original because I played it not that long ago. I loaded it up on the EverDrive to test it out. It's like my go-to game for that. And I feel like that one was I forget what it's called, but was really interesting because I've never ever heard anybody talk about that version of the
It's
game.
like a hidden, like an old hidden gem platformer that just never got talked about.
Yeah, I'm looking up right now. It's literally just called Rocket Knight, and it's a 2.5D platforming video game by Climax Studios and published by Konami. Yeah, I've never. It's an Xbox Live arcade game, so apparently it wasn't on the PS3. So that is probably one of the many reasons, but it's really good. It looks good too. Like it
I just
still
look
looks
into
good.
trying to get the actual physical copy of it.
Yeah, there is that. See, that's one that needs it because there is none.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
that.
I don't know. Have you or did you have more to say on that, or
No, I just yeah, that'd be cool if that one got it physical. That's all.
no? Have you been to McDonald's in the past week or so?
Um, no, I don't.
Then you wouldn't
The
have seen the change like on the back of the receipt or some of their newer advertising. Apparently, because I think I saw it first on social media, McDonald's is playing into the WcDonald's meme type thing.
the what?
Uh, s- uh, WcDonald's. So turn the M upside down to a W. So you know you're representing McDonald's, but you're getting around the trademark. So if you've ever watched like any like television, like especially like an anime, they'll take like popular food brands and just kind of tweak the logo or the name so you know what it is, but technically they're kind of getting around trademark copyright stuff. So
Ah,
apparently McDonald's is using the WcDonald's that you usually see in some animes as far as like a part of like a their like a anime marketing campaign.
hmm,
Uh, like if you go to McDonald's now, they have like some weird stuff. Like the back of this receipt has like animation and stuff on the back of it.
interesting.
Uh,
Yeah,
but I was trying to go through some stuff. So uh, apparently there's a 4 anime short being produced by Studio Period, studio that worked on like Naruto and Black Clover. If you ever watch those.
yeah.
So apparently over the next 4 weeks there'll be that and apparently a manga chapter release, but like a month-long marketing campaign with an anime studio to be like to kind of like play into it and stuff like that.
Huh.
And it looks like they're kind of to some degree parroting other semi-popular animes to some degree. I don't know how close you're going to actually get.
Right.
And McDonald's actual social media, like their actual X account, is McDonald's and the stuff. They've the whole logo on the line. It's like the actual like at least on their X, it's like the W the M's upside down, and they like I don't know if it's an actual sauce, but they're advertised like on the digital sauce is the same thing with like the W upside down stuff like that. So they're playing into like a long time trope and just using that as like a short term advertising campaign.
That is
Don't know if they
hilarious.
need it to sell some stuff, but it just seemed kind of like interesting and
Did you ever? I think I sent it to you. Did you ever play the Grimace game that you were able to play like on your phone, but it was a Game Boy, like an actual like
I
I
remember
got it
playing
on my EverDrive now.
old McDonald's, nothing new, but I played like some of the old stuff. Like I remember back in like the early to mid 2000s, they used to like make like cartoon movie, like an
Yeah,
hour long
I
movie or
had
something. I
a
remember
couple
watching some of those.
VHS. Yeah, a couple
Like a
VHS
mixture
tapes.
either on VHS or on the old DVD, but right around the turn of the century, early 2000s, I remember them having like, cartoons and stuff like that. Like they actually used to produce more than just, shitty fast food.
Yeah, I mean they had a Sega Genesis video game and all that, but this was Grimace's birthday. I played it. I thought I sent it to you, but you could play it on your phone, but it was like an actual developed Game Boy game. Like there you can go on Etsy and buy like carts of it, but I've got it on my EverDrive so I can like literally play it on the Game Boy. So it's like a legit Game Boy game and it's a platforming skateboarding game, like a 2D platform. You ride a skateboard. That's the platforming,
So it's
and
like a really cheaply made game.
it's actually fun though. It's actually pretty fun. Like I caught myself playing it for like an hour. So
Oh,
it's
apparently they've got there's a website that has the game as well.
that's what
You
I'm
can just
talking about. Yeah, you just
Google search it. Yeah.
play it straight on your phone, play it on PC, and then if you want to get a card of it, you can get you a card of it. So yeah, that was interesting. That was totally random when they dropped that.
No,
Um,
it is.
yeah, it's a little weird. I saw. Have you seen anything about the Madden 24 stuff?
haven't. I don't really follow the Madden stuff. Like I know there's some rumblings for the college football game that's supposed to be coming out later this summer, but I haven't heard anything about the Madden stuff.
Yeah, I mean I don't follow it either, but it looks like it says like essentially they're talking about, and we've known this kind of forever, uh like no changes to the game. And there's like a whole there's like a whole page that you can find of a comparison on the differences of 23 and 24. um so yeah, and there's apparently a deluxe edition of it. So I mean, I would bring that up because that's coming out. Um, might Is that already out? Maybe it's already out. Maybe it's Madden 25 talking about. I'm not sure. I just remember seeing that pop up, but
25 might make more sense.
yeah, because it is 24 now. They're always a year ahead. So
Yeah,
I never understood that. Why do they do that?
because the season, I don't know. It's just probably marketing that way. It's good throughout the next year because the back half of the season goes into the new year. So like I don't know. It's just how they name their games at this point.
Interesting. That's interesting. I never heard that before. Yeah, I've always wondered about that. I think it's kind of weird. There's other games that have done that too. Yeah, I saw on here that, let me pull it up. Where is it? Can't find it. I had it. It was on Anime News Network. Something about a new anime movie. It looked pretty interesting. Inspired.
Are you
by...
talking about the new Gundam movie?
Oh yeah,
the Gundam
yeah, yeah.
Seed movie.
Yeah, yeah.
That it's out in Japan. God knows when we're gonna get it here in the U.S., but it's coming out to some other countries over the next few months.
Interesting. Yeah, I want to see that.
I've heard decent things about it. As much as I thought the second or Seed Destiny was an atrociously terrible show, but I haven't watched it in like 10 plus years.
I remember liking it, but maybe it was just
It's such an old show. Like the first season came out in like what 2001, 2002. Like they haven't touched this IP, this specific Gundam IP since like what 2005, 2006. Like
yeah,
it's been like 15
I miss
years.
Gundam Wing. I miss Gundam Wing.
I like Gundam Wing, but the more I go back and watch it, I'm like, this is just aged poorly. As far as
I haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I never rewatched it.
Terrible. And that's a show I've got nostalgia for, and I'm like, this is not
Me
good
too.
at all.
What about Unicorn? Do you like Gundam Unicorn?
I haven't watched. There's a lot of Gundam series I'm still
It's pretty
watching,
good.
but
It's pretty.
I mean,
it's pretty good.
I enjoyed the original series from '79, which when you at first watch, it's kind of rough.
Yeah,
watching '79 animation, but I was like, it's not as bad as you would think. It's decently paced. It's got a good story.
Yeah, I mean, there's some old anime that holds up to me, like the original Astro Boy. Like I could still watch that, and I think it holds up just as well. It's beautiful, beautiful animation. I
Speaking
saw
of old. Or,
Oh,
no,
go
what were you
ahead.
saying? Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I just saw something else. Speaking of old shows, remember you ever watch a show called Case Closed?
Yep.
That's what
Yep.
they called it in the U.S. due to
It's called
the
Detective.
Detective Conan.
Yeah, Detective
But because of the
Conan.
whole Conan movie stuff, they
Mhm.
changed it to get around it. Apparently, later this year they're coming. It's 27th movie is apparently getting released with the widest amount of movies in Japan movie theaters.
Oh my gosh, that is
27
shocking.
movies. This show came out in
Jeez.
like the mid to late 90s. Like
How does
it's about as old as One Piece is for when it started.
I only knew about one movie.
And the manga's been going for
Yeah, I know.
just as long, if not longer. It's crazy that it's been going on.
No,
Like,
is
some
manga
shows can go on for that
still
long.
going right now? I thought it.
I have to
Gee, many
double check.
Christmas. That is
I mean,
a
it's
lot
kinda
of
like a-
movies. How can that even be interesting at that
It's
point?
it's a
It's
aimed towards like a
cra-
younger kid
yeah.
audience. It's a light detective show.
Yeah.
There's an overarching plot, but I mean, after what 20 some years, like how long can you drag that out for? But it's kind of like the whole week to
yeah.
week. Here's a new detective type show, so you could kind of do it.
It reminds me of that one. Gosh, what's it called? Like Doraemon, or no, maybe it's not Doraemon. I'm thinking of. I forget. There's a one anime that's like definitely targeted at kids. That's been going on forever. I want to mention though, I saw this pop up and I didn't know about it. There's a new physical Pokemon release coming out, and it's called Tales of Lugia, and it includes Pokemon 2000, which I love that movie. I mean, like, literally love that movie. To me, it still holds up. I watched it not super long ago, a couple years ago. Again, 10 out of 10 movie. Uh, it makes me cry at a certain part. Um, but it also comes with The Power of Us. So I haven't seen that movie. That's kind of interesting. Like I could justify that one. It's video game
Yeah.
related. And that would be cool to have on it. It unfortunately it looks like it's just a DVD though. I don't even see a Blu-ray
Yeah.
option. That's
So it's
dumb.
because I just pulled it up. So apparently in Japan, the Detective Conan manga started airing, or at least the first volume came out in June of '94. Though it's a
Yeah.
whole 10 years later before it comes to the U.S. in English, but it's still ongoing. Like the latest volume 105 just came out is coming out in April 10th of this year,
Hmm.
and that only covers up to chapter 1070, but they're actually all the way up to chapter 1125. I think it's just not all of them have actually been published in a volume.
Huh.
But yeah, it's been going on longer than One Piece, or just as long. I think
Jeez.
the One Piece anime started in '99.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
We know the
wild.
One Piece manga is coming to an end, but now I'm curious about when the actual One Piece manga
Yeah,
has been.
when does it end though? What chapter are we on? Like
All right, so the One
1700?
Piece started July of '97
Okay,
for
only 2
One
years
Piece.
before the anime. Wow.
So it's been going on just as pretty much almost as long
Yeah,
as Detective Conan, but obviously that show's not as popular. It's more
right.
towards a younger audience. But I even just bought uh,
I
the first three
watched
volumes of the manga recently
of
when I
Case
was at the
Closed,
store. I was like, no,
One
of
Piece.
One Piece, because I'm like, I'm also watching the show. I'm like, screw it, I'll just start buying the manga and reading it. But I don't like to do it digitally, so like I'll buy it physically, and
Yeah, I don't either.
that'll take up a lot of space eventually. But
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it would. I know that you can get. There are box sets of like 1 through 10, 11 through 20, like of One Piece. Like there's different
yeah,
box
but
sets
I
you can
didn't get
get
the
to.
actual box set. It's the first three volumes,
Yeah.
the 3-in-1 volume, because it's just
Oh, the Omni
cheaper.
manga.
It's somewhat combined. Like I've started to prefer those because it eats up less space. You get more in one and stuff like that. And sometimes a lot of them
Yeah.
are like they're like hard copied.
Yeah. Yep. I mean,
Yeah,
they're like nice. Yeah, they're nice. I remember those became really popular when me and you were really into the anime and going to conventions. I remember they started doing that with like some older stuff because they started doing it with Dragon Ball, and I feel like they did it with Death Note, and like it was pretty new. Like that was a new thing to, Omnibus have been around, but like where they're making like the hardback, like real nice kind of collector quality stuff. Like you could even get some that were printed on like I forget what type of paper, but like real nice paper, and they made like full collared volumes of Dragon Ball. Do you remember that? Like they had like
yeah.
full collar quality
Sorry, I was
of
trying to
that.
get my autofocus was at
I
a
see
zoom
that
for a
you're
second.
you
I was trying
keep
to like get it to not be out of zoom.
yeah.
But
Did you
what'd you say again? Sorry.
about the omnibus? They did like a
Yeah,
full
to some
collared
degree.
run of Dragon Ball, the manga. They
Oh
made
yeah,
it
I do remember that.
colorized. Yeah,
It's really expensive when they
really
print. That's
expensive.
a lot of color paper.
It is a lot. Did you know about this? I'm not caught up on any of the Pokemon anime stuff at all, but
Neither am I.
they made a show called Pokemon the Arceus Chronicles, and it says our heroes head back to Sinnoh to learn about the region's past after receiving a mysterious message from the mythical Pokemon Arceus. So it dives into the Arceus game.
That's not surprising. Tap
It's
into the actual popularity, turn
it's
into another
not
show.
it's not what's surprising is I didn't know about it.
It probably just not big news, but I mean, like Pokemon's been out running for 20 some years at this point, 25 years plus at this point.
True. Can you still get physical Shonen Jump issues?
Of what exactly?
Like the
Like the
physical
actual Shonen Jump, like the
yeah,
weekly or the
yeah,
monthly?
the monthly, yeah. Can you
In
still get that?
here, I
I
don't.
used to
From what I
get a
understand,
subscription for
is
it.
in Japan. I think you still can. I don't know if they're still doing it here in the West anymore, or in the U.S.
That's a bummer. I loved those, man. Like those are like still hold value now. Like some of those hold a lot of value. Understandably, like they're thick, you get like they're cool. I always liked them a lot. I was a big fan. I just be curious for some reason if they still produce those or not. But I did want to bring this up. Actually, Lucas sent to me about this, but Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is getting a PS5 and Xbox Series X version on May 24th, and obviously we're getting that new Dragon Ball game here soon. And I think what he sent me too is that Dragon Ball Fighters is also getting like a PS5 version. So that's kind of cool. I like that they take these games and give a free upgraded version of the game for new consoles, like if you already own it. That runs better fidelity and better resolution, and performance in fighting games pretty essential. So
Yeah. So I just double checked on the actual Amazon Japan, so you can still get the actual, at least in Japan, the physical weekly Shonen Jump over there.
oh, you can.
Yeah, it's like it's in magazine format, but you can still get the weekly stuff. Which feels like at this point they would just discontinue in the US because like that's just cheaper. It's all digital.
You would think so, yeah. Do you see any other I saw something about Duel Masters. Do you remember that?
Sounds
Whoa.
like a Digimon spinoff.
It's like it's like Yu-Gi-Oh. It was supposed to like compete with Yu-Gi-Oh. Apparently it's coming back though. What? I loved it as a kid.
I don't think
It failed,
it.
but it had like a minor popularity. Like it was on Cartoon Network and
Yeah, it's like I remember hearing it. I don't think I ever really watched it, but
dude.
yeah, it definitely just it's another card game that
Yeah, but
Yu-Gi-Oh is just a bigger show, but then again, the actual
whoa.
anime of Yu-Gi-Oh just ignores the actual rules of the card game. So
It
it's like
does. Dude, the
so
manga
bad.
though, oh my god, the manga is crazy. Have you ever read just that first volume?
I've only ever
You'll be
watched the
shocked. You'll be shocked at how violent and how crazy and different it is. Way different than the anime. Like the anime is geared at kids. The manga is not geared at kids at all. It is like Yugi in it is like evil. He's like legitimately like evil, and like it's his alter ego. And it's just insane. Like it is an insane manga. Just that first volume. Like I've read that volume so many times. It is just crazy how different it is. Absolutely like not sure. I mean, they made the right move, obviously, because I don't
Is
think
there a
that
specific version of it, or it's just the
just
original?
the original manga. Yeah, just look up. You can just look up some of the pages and see like just how brutal it is. I would just type in like Yu-Gi-Oh manga evil or something like that, but
Oh, the
it
first thing I see is like a Reddit poster, like, yeah, 4 Kids ruined it.
yeah,
But I'm like,
it's
that's a dub, not the actual show, unless they censored it when they actually aired it.
dude,
I know
it is
I quickly
dark.
saw one page of it where the dude has it's his the hand where you do the knife between the hands, but
Mm,
he's got like a stack of money on top of it.
yes, yep.
I don't know
That's
if he
one of
actually
the
stabbed himself, but I saw one. It's like
he
he gotta
does.
like not actually stab himself. I was like,
Oh
yeah,
no,
they probably would have
he's
just cut that out.
yeah, he stabs himself in the manga. Oh yeah, it's brutal. It's crazy how different that is. Nobody talks about that. I was watching that Duel Masters trailer. That is very interesting. It looks very dark too, like dark and gritty, like way different than the Duel Masters anime was clearly geared at kids.
Yeah,
Like
so I saw this where someone said in the manga that it's apparently Yugi is savage to Sato Kaiba. It says Kaiba and Yugi have a pretty contentious relationship uh, in the anime, but any conflicts do have pale in comparison to what occurs in the manga. Apparently, after Kiba tries to steal a Blue Eyes White Dragon card from Yugi's grandfather, Dark Yugi responds with a penalty game, which Kaiba loses. As a consequence of that loss, Kaiba's soul is transformed into a dual monster's soul, and that soul is
yep.
utterly eviscerated by dual monsters. Later, Kaiba tries to get revenge for the unbelievable suffering that inflicted, but does so by creating a theme park designed to end Yugi. Yeah, this is.
Dude, it's dark. You
Oh,
should
apparently he's in a.
just
It
buy
puts
that
him in a.
volume 1. It is
This
insane.
It says it ends by saying it puts him in a 6-month-long coma. What?
It is
That's
brutal.
crazy.
Yeah, I guess most people don't know this. If you don't know it, then a lot of people don't know. But it is dark, man. Like it is not anything like that anime. And like I feel like the card game aspect of the manga is like a side thing. Like
Oh,
it this.
apparently, Aiba's stepfather throws himself out of a window in the
Yep,
manga, which
yep,
doesn't happen in the anime.
yep.
that's
I remember
that's
that.
crazy.
I read through all of Yu-Gi-Oh. All of the base Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's insane, dude. It is just brutal. Like I couldn't believe it. And not at all geared at kids in the show. They just completely changed the anime, like
There's like
completely.
alcohol involved,
Oh, dude,
brainwashing.
all yeah,
Apparently,
drugs.
Dark Yugi drives some other dude insane. I don't know how, but
Oh, I remember that. I'm trying to think of how he did that.
it says
Um,
a musician who hasn't had any success, largely because he's terrible at it. Is so apparently, when Yugi fails to sell any tickets, Soji, or how do you actually say that, forces him to listen to his music at an ear-splitting volume and reveals his battered friend. Unless I'm reading this wrong.
yeah,
Or yeah, I don't know. It's just it's really the way they worded this on apparently Ranker. It's just terribly written, if you ask me.
are you? Is it like a ranked of the manga?
Yeah, it's like a Ranker version, but it's the only way to get like quick, like little
Yeah.
glimpses of like some of the actual quick stuff on there. And
Were
it's
you
like
able to
user
see
voted
some of
on
the
what's the most.
pages?
Yeah, but it's like voted by like people who think like the darkest.
There is it
Obviously,
Reddit? Because I pulled up a
the
Reddit article where it's.
no, it's the actual site ranker.com where
Oh,
you
okay,
just rank
gotcha.
certain things. But apparently, by user votes, Yami Bakru defeats Pegasus by tearing his eye out. It's like considered the most dark moment.
Well, I know that. No way. I don't think that's the
So
darkest
he rips
moment.
out apparently the Millennium Eye.
Yeah, like actually,
Essentially,
like rips it out of the
ending
skull.
his life is what that says.
Yeah,
That's
it
crazy.
was pretty crazy. It's so different than the anime.
So
It's just
apparently,
like
this character who's got that fake eye, he comes back later in the show, but in the manga, that's it. He's done.
Oh,
Never
yeah.
comes back ever again.
he's dead. Yeah,
It's like they're like, we're gonna completely change how this anime actually works. So we want to market to into an audience who's actually gonna buy the cards.
yeah. I was somebody's Reddit post. I started reading the original Yu-Gi-Oh manga and find it absolutely hilarious. It's crazy violent without any reason at all. Everyone is out for the kill, elementary students included. And it goes on saying stuff I can't say. Yeah, it gets.
Yeah, I need to go and actually start reading this.
No, you really, really do. It's insane, dude. Do you remember
brutality for the sake of brutality.
Yeah, and like most of it makes no sense and it's for no reason. It's other than to be like pure evil. Like it's crazy, dude. Um, do you remember Slam Dunk manga? Do you remember the incident I had?
No, I know about it. I was never the biggest sports anime fan outside of Girls und Panzer. I didn't really care for him.
So this would have been year Barnes' class. This was the year that you came, and I came
fourth grade.
Yeah, fourth grade, and my grandma got me Slam Dunk Volume 1 because it was at the flea market. Got it for like 50 cents.
Yeah.
And I just love manga, so anything at that time, like you couldn't get anything, so like anything I found that was anime or manga related, I wanted. I got it taken away from me and sent back to my or to my mom because it had a bunch of curse words in it. Like it's also pretty gnarly. Yeah. And I was showing people because it was like this cusses.
Oh yeah, because that's how they found out. Because you're like, oh, you can see this.
I showed everybody. This was shortly before I cut that kid's pants.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I went under and obviously I'm not saying last names, but a kid named Chris. I went underneath the table because I got mad at him and cut his pants. And we had to buy him new pants. My mom had to buy him new pants.
You were such a little bastard.
I know I was, dude. He did something to make me mad. I
feel like we tried to get some of those like manga or I guess to us they were just comics when we were kids at those. You remember those they had like the Scholastic Book Fair or something like that for like
yes,
a week
they were called Anna mangas is what they were called, and they were like collared and they were from the anime.
I don't know.
I had the dual so that's funny because the one I got the first one I got was Duel Masters. But they also made animangas that were from like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon shows. Um,
Yeah, I don't know if it's buried. But I thought I still had one that I bought, but I don't want to get up and look and try to
yeah, you're
find out.
good.
But I
Yeah,
think I only ever bought one.
that is how I learned about Duel Masters. I got that volume 1 animanga. Yeah, I just looked it
Oh,
up.
I was sort of going down
There's
memory
a
lane at this point.
animanga.
You
There's a
ever?
whole wiki for animangas. Apparently, it's
I don't know if
like a
we.
thing.
I don't know if we ever got around to reading the manga, but I do remember a show that I didn't realize was an anime until way down the road. But Hamtaro.
Yeah,
Ugh.
dude, I loved
The
Hamtaro.
weirdest,
I loved it.
dumbest show, but it's just like you're a bunch of random hamsters doing some stuff.
I
I don't know.
loved
I don't know
Hamtaro.
why I got into
I,
that.
I played 3 of the games, Game Boy Color, 2 on GBA, and one of them, believe it or not, I've talked about before. It's on a previous video on one of my lists. A Hamtaro GBA game called Ham Ham Heartbreak is one of my
There's a lot of
favorite
games.
GBA games. It is really good. Like it legitimately is a really good game. It's super fun. I played through it several times. I love that game. I was a big Hamtaro fan. I mean, I asked for that for my birthday, so like I was.
It's got a completely different opening here in the U.S.
Yeah,
compared to
yeah.
like the Japanese version.
And
We're
then
back in that era where we're gonna completely change the
they
music.
and then they like the Japanese Hamtaro like became like skinny, and they made the Hamtaro here it was like fat. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but like there's skinny Hamtaro in
It might
Japan.
just
Like
be
they
later. Might
it
just one of
was
the
it
later
was
seasons.
later. It was later. Yeah. I don't even know that it got a yeah, like I'm pulling up right here. Like it's really skinny Hamtaro. And yeah, they completely changed. I'm not sure why they changed the art style, but like he's got like kind of a I don't know. Like I'm pulling it up. I can see it, but
I think he was just uh, fatter looking in
so
the
yeah,
older versions.
19
Though in
this
the newer
is
shows that stopped.
it's like it's okay, I got it right here. 1999, really fat, like there's a comparison picture. 2011, super skinny. It's like Pikachu because you remember Pikachu like on the cards and
Yeah,
like
it's like the
they
art
made
style just evolves over time, pretty much. Probably different studios animated them, so the animation changes.
what why they gotta make them skinnier though?
I don't
What
know. Ask the animation studios, not me.
I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks. I like fat Hamtaro.
I mean, he's not really fat. He's just a hamster. He's just small and compact. That's how hamsters look.
Yeah,
Probably
that's
just a
true.
different studio. They just went with a different art style over time to change it up. I don't know.
So have you heard about Google's DeepMind? Have you heard about this?
Haven't. I've heard
And
about Google's failed AI, but I don't know about DeepMind.
well, this is AI involved. However, it is AI essentially
Oh,
for video games.
It's related to the Google Gemini, right?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, Google Gemini just getting ragged on by everybody.
So there's a bunch of footage out there. Like I actually looked at the guy's tweet that was like the head developer on Twitter, and like it shows a bunch of screenshots of games being played. And the problem is, like, if you go look at the chat, dude, it is insane on that guy's. Like, I'm sure if you type in DeepMind on Twitter, like you'll find him. But like people are I'm pissed because essentially, and he like straight up says it in his tweets, straight up says it. This pulls from thousands of other games and creates its own 2D platformer and does all this, makes this movement and like perfects it from all these games, and like it's taken all these retro games that we've had over the years and it's making its own thing out of these games. And he's like saying it's like perfected and like, you know, it just craziness, like absolute craziness. You look it up and like looking at the screenshots, I'm like, I think the ones they're showing, at least the ones that I've seen, look absolutely terrible. It says, according to DeepMind spokesperson, when a user selects an action in his action controllable world model, Genie generates the next frame. It does not have any way to know which part of the image corresponds to the character, she said. Instead, Genie figures this out by doing it itself during training time. The technology isn't limited to 2D environments. Genie could, for example, generate simulations to be used for training embodied agents such as robots. So, talking about stuff outside of this, but all the stuff that I saw and was shared about the DeepMind was all video game related, and you can go in there and make a game with this
Can't
AI.
imagine them being. It's just not an AI doesn't know what would be a fun game.
I
It's just
yeah,
gonna pull random crap.
it's I feel like it would be soulless, man, because like I just feel like it would be soulless is how I
I mean, I
feel.
can see
Like
how AI could be properly implemented in development, but
development,
at the end
yeah,
of the day, you
I'm with
have
that.
to create it all yourself.
Yeah, yeah, I don't like that because AI only pulls from what we know and have done. That's it.
In which you program to tell it to do essentially, but it's not
Yes.
gonna do anything new or unique.
No, it's not doing anything. It's pulling from everything we already have. That's all it knows. It knows what we already have, and that's it. I mean, you're not.
It's just gonna jumble it together
Yeah,
based off the code.
yeah, essentially, and it's just like that. Just does not. To me, that just
Comes off as like shovelware games that are like you find on the phone or you find on
that's
like the Wii store. Just
that's what I
just
feel like
trash
it'll
games.
be. That's what I feel like it'll be. It'll be like a mobile takeover, a mobile
Like I
game
want to do
takeover.
absolutely no work, but I want to try to make a quick buck.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this one where it shows all the movement. Like it's showing all the movement from everything they've shown, and like
Yeah.
to me, like all the worlds, and these are different games. They all look the same. Like they don't look that different. This is showing. It's got like 50 moving screenshots here and like JPEGs, and to me, it just looks so soulless. It doesn't look good. Um, it's just crazy. Yeah. This is yeah, 52. It's shown 52 of them. So
I think it's just gonna turn off people from AI in the game and just be like, nah, you made with AI, like, oh, you probably just cut a bunch of corners to shorten development time.
yeah, I just yeah. I mean, I like the AI implementation and development is. I mean, it's there. That's where we're going. And then like these job cuts, like I legitimately believe a lot of them. These layoffs, a lot of it is frontline people that aren't actually developing, that are doing other stuff, answering calls, answering emails, marketing.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of those, but then I think also the AI implementation into even just that part of it, not even just the game development, like the AI taking over that, responding to things and generating things, and
But I don't think it's gonna work because it's just gonna feel even more soulless.
that's
You're gonna
yeah.
know with a computer made it, and I don't think financially it's gonna work out the way they think it will.
Like okay, here's a really good example. Chat GPT, right? I can tell every single time if somebody's full like post is from that because it always sounds and looks the same. Always. Like it has this same tone. Like you can tell. And then like it'll have usually after every single thing like an emoji and like trying to make some sort of expression. But like I can tell every single time. Like I can point it out literally. I I just see it. Like you could see it. It doesn't sound like how a normal person would talk. It sounds like how a super proper like, British guy would talk. Like that's what it sounds like to me.
What from like 100 years ago?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like nobody talks like that anymore. It's like that's what AI is going to be with everything, I feel like. I feel like it's going to have that sort of like just soulless sort of thing. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, how do you feel about it?
I I just don't think it's. I think AI has its places, but it has its place in the world. But I just think it's far from I can't speak. It's far from a working product at this point. That's going to really be able to produce anything that's overly useful. It could be like a tool to help you do certain things, but on a whole, I just don't think it's all that helpful at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
technology's just not there yet. It's just not where you would want it to be. But even then, if it gets to a point where it pumps out just a soulless, it's just grabbing a bunch of stuff, pumping something out, I don't think it's gonna be the best product in the world. Especially if
Yeah.
you're looking at gaming or a movie or something like that. It's like it's gonna feel like a machine wrote this.
I agree. I mean, it does. So let me ask you, how do you feel about this Crow remake?
I don't know anything about it.
The Crow? You ever
I
seen The
don't. I don't.
Crow?
I know a crow is an animal, but
No, the movie The Crow? You've never seen the movie The Crow?
I don't think so. I mean, I can pull it up real quick.
Well, so there's whole lore to it because Brandon Lee, who was Bruce Lee's son, got shot on the set of filming. Like they were using a prop gun, but it was an actual gun that was loaded, and he got killed when they were filming
I don't know
the
how you make
second
that
movie.
mistake.
I know. I know. And anyway, it's like it's like beyond a cult classic. Like I love it. I love The Crow.
Yeah, no,
And
I've never seen it before.
yeah, this remake, if you look at like just like the original images of Brandon Lee as the Crow, and like I don't, it's one of those things where people are like, this is like something you shouldn't touch sort of deal. Like, why are you remaking this? Like,
Like you will only ruin it type
yeah,
thing. Like
yeah,
it's already as good as you're gonna be type thing. Like people don't want a new movie.
yeah, and like it, I don't know. Bill Skarsgård plays him, and he's got like a tattoo right here, like Post Malone, like crossed his eyebrow, and it almost like the Joker sort of deal that they did.
Yeah.
God, why? I just don't know why they do this with movies like this. It is a true great cult classic, like very good film. Um,
Yeah.
so are you a James Bond fan at all?
Of the older, I don't really care for a lot of the newer James Bond. Really.
There's an article here talking about Jack O'Connell addresses possibility of being cast as the next 007, taking Daniel Craig's departure.
I guess we'll see at the end of the day, but
Yeah,
I don't know. Ever since was it Chris Brosnan or Pierce Brosnan? I
Pierce
just think
Brosnan.
it's not the
He was
same.
my
It's been
favorite.
yeah, but I go back and I watch the older ones, and I'm like, oh, he really changed what James Bond was,
He
and
did.
eh,
He did.
I
I
go back
think
down. I'm
it's
like, I'm not the biggest fan of his movies
I
or
think it's
Daniel Craig's
nostalgia.
early movies.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
liked what Skyfall, I think it was called.
yeah.
Skyfall, I liked that. Wasn't there
But I've
one
gone
called something Diamond or
like Diamonds Are Forever or something like that.
yeah. I
But I
think
go
I
back and
liked
I
that
watch
one.
it, and obviously I really like Sean Connery and
Yeah, I like
Roger
Sean.
Moore, James Bond. I think they're some of the better ones.
Yeah, I like Sean
Not that,
Connery too.
and it's just Sean Connery really breeds what he was supposed to be all along, and what he was I think in the books or something like that, or whatever it was based off of. I thought it was based off of something. I might be getting that wrong, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, did you know that they're making a new Karate Kid and that Jackie Chan is in it?
how many times did they?
I
It was like
know.
this is the third time they're gonna remake it at this point. Like
I
there's nothing
know.
new.
I know.
Jackie
It's
Chan
that
was in the old remake from like 10
yeah,
years ago.
yeah, with Will Smith's son. Yeah, it says Karate Kid
Yeah.
2024 has also added Dawson's Creek star Joshua Jackson to the cast. The upcoming movie is the sixth feature-length installment in the franchise. Jackson's character is currently unknown, but will play a major role in the movie. And then yeah, it's talking about casting Daniel LaRusso reprising his role, and Jackie Chan reprising his role as the wise martial arts mentor, Mr. Han, from the 2010 remake The Karate Kid, which was loosely connected to the other movies in the franchise. I didn't know it was connected. Did you?
No, but it's been so long. Like, why
It was
bother
so
connecting
bad.
at this
Dude, it
point?
was that movie was so bad. I hated that movie. Did you like it? That 2010
I think it
remake?
was okay, but I didn't care for it.
Not a fan. I thought it was terrible.
I was
I,
like,
I
it's a passable movie, but at the end of the day, it's just not that good of a movie.
yeah, yeah. Interesting. I don't know if this is what you were talking about earlier or not, but beloved shonen anime beats Demon Slayer Hashira training at the Japanese box office. Is this the one you're talking about? The new Haikyuu movie
Uh,
beat it in the box office. Apparently, Haikyuu the movie decisive battle at the
no, it's something else.
garbage dump. This is the name of it. Haikyuu the movie decisive battle with the garbage dump has topped Japan's box office for 2 weeks, beating out the latest Demon Slayer movie.
Yeah, I guess it's apparently some volleyball show. I've never heard of it before.
Well, they
You want to
play
talk? That's not even
volleyball
like
at a
the longest.
garbage dump. What kind of theme is that? Decisive battle with the garbage dump, and it's a movie. Oh my gosh. What has happened with anime? I do want to see that Demon Slayer movie though. Are you interested in watching it?
I've only ever watched the first season, so I'm like not caught up at all to watch it. Like I'd be completely lost. I know it's the second movie they've made for Demon Slayer, but
Yeah.
I'm not past the
The
first season.
the movie like was very standalone-ish. Like you did, I
From what I
actually
understand,
knew
the
a
first
few
movie,
people.
like what I heard about the first movie was it was part of the actual arc. Like you have
It
to watch
is.
this movie to continue with the series.
It is, but it also is like standalone-ish. Like you could just watch a movie. Like I know people that watch a movie and then they got into the anime. Like two people actually. That's how they got into the anime. They went because that first movie did really well in the theaters. I don't know if you remember, but like it smashed in the theaters even here. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, third film. I need to watch it.
yeah.
I need to watch
But
it.
if you're talking about how weird that name is, here's some really long names. I don't know if this is an anime or just a manga, but this is the name of a series. The story in which I was kidnapped by a young ladies' school to be a sample of the common people. That's the title of a series.
Oh my god,
Or the misfit of Demon King Academy. History's strongest Demon King reincarnates and goes to school with his descendants.
that's the
That's like a whole sentence.
that's the title.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The title of a,
That
I
reminds
think
me
it's a
of like
manga.
those dungeon Japanese dungeon games. Oh god, they're like there's a bunch of them where like girls get taken away to the dungeon. Like I don't know, you like type in like girls dungeon
Are you talking
anime
about
girls dungeon
is it like
games.
a school dungeon?
No,
Like dungeon school or something like that?
no, I don't think so. I had to look up. I know there's a series of them. Um, 25 best dungeon crawlers. No, I can't think of what it's called, but there's a few of them. Anime. I put Animal Girl. That won't help. I meant to put anime girl dungeon games. Oh, top role playing games tagged anime and dungeon crawler. They're always like YR blah blah blah. Like that's how the titles start or something. I'm trying to remember what the
Oh
yeah.
my god. These just like there's
Oh,
some
here it
weird
is.
names out here.
Here's one of them. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? That's the
Oh,
name of the
that's a
game.
really popular show. Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, I remember that one. I've seen the first season of it.
Yeah,
You
that's
want to hear another? Apparently, this is a light novel.
uh,
So for her stripper, change her clothes. She screwed up her high school debut and became a shut-in. So I've ended up coordinating her youth fashion.
oh my god, what the heck kind of name is that? What are with these names, dude?
There's some weird. The results from when I time leaped to my second year of high school and confessed to the teacher I liked at the time. I think the
Oh
whole
my
concept
god.
is crazier. I'm a high school boy and a best-selling light novel author strangled by my female junior who's a voice actress.
Oh my
Like, what kind of title is that? Not only is it long, it's
I
utterly confusing.
that is yeah, that's strange.
This is crazy.
There's a lot of weird. Is there any other weird ones?
I was trying to find one that wasn't just long, but it was just kind of weird.
There's
Suppose a kid from the last dungeon boonies moved to a starter town. It's not as weird as I thought. I was trying to just go through different names. Some are just long, some are just long and weird.
there's a lot of really weird. I mean, especially when there was this one about I forget what it's called. I know it's like an anime trope at this point, but there's one. It's like something in the title about the octopus and a girl. Like I know it's like a whole trope thing, and like I don't get it, but
Yeah, I don't know. I know this one's a little bit more common, but do you love your mom and her two-hit multi-target attacks?
oh my god, what was
That's got some weird elements where it's like, are you in love with your mom or y'all? There's a thing going on. It's like weird,
do you
super
remember
weird sometimes.
Orimo's like full title? How weird that one was. I really liked it, and I'm yeah, it was
Oh, that's a weird one. He marries like his sister or something like that. It's weird.
it was really weird. I
The
can't
problem,
remember.
I got the Japanese title for
Yeah,
it.
that's what I'm
Oh,
talking
the
about.
English title is My Little Sister Can't Be This Cute, which was
Yeah,
it's
that's
some weird
weird.
brother sister incest crap going on.
Yeah, and like the sister in it was like an anime fan, and she like collected anime figures and had to hide it in her closet from her family
Yeah,
because she
and
wasn't allowed to.
either her or one of her friends likes to cosplay or something like that, but
Yeah,
she wants to like hide it and
yeah, she
it'll
like
ruin my popularity. People think I'm into this.
yeah, yeah. It was a strange.
Hey, how's it going, the Siphon? Popping in the chat.
Hey, what's up? What's up? Yeah, it was a weird one for sure. There's a lot of weird ones, Mark. Like some of it's really thrown me for a loop, and one of the reasons like I have not kept up with anime in a long time. Have you ever played the Hyper Dimension games? They're really fun. Hyper Dimension Neptunia,
I think I got one game
the Vita.
on the Vita, and I
Yeah,
just couldn't get into it. I'm sorry. It just was a weird
gotcha.
game. The same thing
Yeah,
with some of those other anime-ish type games. Like I played the one game that I know I have played are it's not Neptunia. It's
the spinoff.
no, it's not a spinoff. It's its own thing. But they did a tie-in for one of the titles. But it's the Serenron Kagura, the Ninja Girls
Oh
type
yeah,
shows,
yeah.
or the game.
I've got one of those on Switch.
It's like
Yeah.
butcher the title. But I
Yeah,
got one of
there's
those
a
games
like a
where it
little
was
box set that I got on Amazon. It was a deal for 20. It's normally like $60, but it's like in a little box.
yeah, one of the games I had. I think it was also on the Vita. It had to do with shooting water guns at each other. It was weird. One of those fan servicey games, or the
Wha-
fan service
Oh
spin-off
god.
of that game.
Did you see the one I sent to you that you would probably like today?
I don't think so. I think
Oh,
I've,
you got to look at it.
let me double check. I may
Yeah.
have checked it. I can't remember.
Well, while you're looking, this makes me really angry, and I didn't know about this. Netflix revealed on Thursday that Ultraman Rising, it and the Sabara Productions' upcoming Ultraman CG animated feature film will premiere on June 14th. It looks horrible. I I love Ultraman. I love all
They've
kaiju
made some
and
terrible live actions for Ultraman.
like the classic ones.
No, some of the newer ones they just come off as super cheesy.
This looks terrible. This looks really bad. Oh, this makes me angry. I didn't even know about this. Ultraman Rising. I have to look up a little bit more.
This is like this wife quest game. It's kind of like a platform, like a anime platformer type thing.
Yeah, I thought you might like it.
It's just the weird premise.
Yeah, it's the title, the title, Wife Quest. This looks, yeah, to me this looks really bad. If you look at screenshots of this, man, this looks like, oh my god, wow, does this look horrible? Oh god, like
What's it called again?
Ultraman Rising. The synopsis is with Tokyo under siege from rising monster attacks, baseball star Ken Sato reluctantly returns home to take on the mantle of Ultraman, but the Titanic superhero meets his match when he is forced to adopt a 35-foot tall, fire-breathing baby kaiju. Saito must rise above his ego to balance work and parenthood while protecting the baby from forces bent on exploiting her for her own dark plans. Or for their own dark plans. In partnership with Netflix, Sabuya, I don't know, I'm butchering the production company, Industrial Light and Magic. It's written by Shannon Tyndall, and it's not even.
It's like a 3D
It's written
animated movie.
It's written by people here, or people
Yeah,
that
makes
aren't
sense with Netflix.
Japanese, yeah, and co-directed by John Oshima. That's yeah. See, I mean, it looks like something that was produced and developed here. Like it.
Yeah, like it's not. It's written by
Yeah, I hate that.
by Americans.
That makes me really angry. I love that series. Cult classic for me. I like all that Super Sentai and Kaiju and all that stuff. That's a big bummer. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm just looking here at Anime News Network, VTuber legend, how I went viral after forgetting to turn off my stream. Anime reveals more. Oh, it's an anime called that. It's called VTuber legend, how I went viral after forgetting to turn off my stream. Reveals more cast and promo video. That's
I mean,
right
hey,
up your
that's like
alley. That's the
that's a
name
fairly
of
hot
anime.
thing. We'll see how it actually does. It could be terrible for all I know.
I'm gonna pull up the trailer while we're talking. Oh my god, heaven! It
It's trying.
it's an
It doesn't really, like.
adaptation of Nana Nanato's VTuber legend. A light novel series. It's an adaptation. Well, that light
Yeah, it makes sense.
that light novel can't be that old because VTubers are pretty new.
Probably came out only a few years ago. Oh yeah, the
This
light novel
looks
came
so
out in
bad.
2021.
Oh, this looks stupid. You're into
You
the
don't see,
VTuber
you don't
stuff.
see a whole lot. Like this trailer doesn't really show a whole lot, but it's fairly obvious. There's not a lot
No,
of
but
money that went into this show.
it's got that terrible art style. I just can't.
Well, it's got the art style of we don't have a lot of money, but we want to make the show really cheap.
Oh, I just saw this part where they like blur her out. It must be whatever people saw. Like she gets blurred out. She's naked or something. Oh god,
It's hard to tell.
terrible. And I don't. To me, I don't quite understand the VTuber thing, but I
It's
know
just
it's popular.
It's just a virtual avatar. Instead of just live streaming you yourself, you just do it with an avatar. A lot of people do it just because they prefer the quasi privacy. Plus, it's got its own niche tie-in, usually with like the anime fan base because of how it's kind of done. It's just I don't know. They did it and it kind of blew up and it works.
There's an anime called Gushing Over Magical Girls.
That's not surprising.
No. But this is cool though. This is some good news because I love the series. Earth Defense Force World Brothers 2 game trailer reveals. Wait, why does this look like Minecraft? It looks like Legos. Have you ever played the Earth Defense Force games?
I haven't. I've seen them before, but I've never actually played them.
This is a spin-off game in the West. Yeah, it looks like it is. It looks like Legos. Like they straight up look like not even Minecraft, like Legos. And they're like all
to me.
what?
Like
the
it looks more
Legos are
Minecrafty than Legos.
they're like breaking apart in Lego pieces when they're battling.
Yeah, it's probably a weird spin-off they're trying to do. Who knows whether it'll actually do well or not.
Man, that's a bummer. I love that series. That's weird. Not something I would be interested in playing, I don't think.
Probably it's almost a guaranteed like nah, it's no for me, fam.
Do you have anything coming up that you're looking forward to that's releasing this year? Or...
Not that I really know of that I can come off the top of my head. Like obviously like the Gundam Seed movie to come out in the West, but that probably be at the earliest like another 6 months down the road. That's kind of what a lot of adaptations do.
Yeah.
If it's not like a big, well-known, popular show. I mean, we're probably won't get a release, or at the very least a physical release for Godzilla Minus Zero till probably sometime next year.
Yeah, so about that, I was talking to my brother about that the other day. So you saw it twice, right? And you got to see it in black and white.
I only saw it once, and I only saw it in the black and white because when I realized it was in theaters, it was the week only or the 2 week only when they were showing it in black and white. So that's the only version I only got see it once.
My hope is that I would buy a physical if this is the case. My hope is that there's something that comes out that features both, because like they're not going to stream both of those on a service. They're going to stream the regular movie.
I'm hoping, because I to some degree, and everybody I've talked to, it's like
the black and white version
feels better watching it black and white.
That's what I've heard.
It's just because of the time period and the way it's shot. It feels naturally that it would be a black and white, and it was a well done black and white transition. They just didn't
like
throw it in,
on.
It was properly, they went in and properly made sure every scene was properly lit with the black and white. It wasn't cheaply done, but like if you had to do one, like it's fine in color, like it doesn't change anything, but it feels more authentic in black and white. Like
yeah, it takes you back to the Gojira movie. Yeah, because I looked some.
It gives you the same feeling as the old, what's it, the 54 movie,
the
original Godzilla?
Yeah,
Gojira. It has the
exact
same feel to it. He's not in it a whole lot. There's always this dread. The actual human characters are actually well written. They're not just stand-ins for until you wait till Godzilla shows up, like a lot of the newer stuff.
That's how. I mean, I don't know if you know, but like the original was Gojira in Japan, and then the Godzilla that
Yeah.
we got here, they added some stupid TV broadcaster into it. Like they removed a bunch of scenes from the original Godzilla, and they threw this guy in talking the entire time
Yeah,
about
you but
Godzilla.
it's easy. I don't think you can. I don't know if it,
It's
well, you go
terrible.
back and rewatch the original. It's the original version of it,
Like
not the
Gojira is good. Yeah,
yeah.
the yeah yeah. It's um Godzilla minus one director is ready to see Godzilla fight some kaiju. Apparently, this was just a couple days ago.
You mean
Says
the -0 one fight it?
yeah, minus
Well, I
one.
mean to be fair, the movie kind of ends with a potential for a follow up, but
Well, this is what he
it's
says.
not a
This
guarantee.
the
I
director
got
says he says his next big challenge might be pitting his Godzilla against another kaiju. So like, there's
ideally maybe one of the
plans.
older ones like Mothra or something like that, but
That's what I'm
they
thinking. Mothra makes sense to be first.
without actually spoiling how the movie ends, and that to some degree kind of does. It was left open for another movie in that time period to take place, but I mean who knows?
It says Yamazaki appears to have plenty of ideas, and the current film certainly plants several seeds as to what the sequel might cover. So, he said he might look to the movie Godzilla Raids Again, which was, I believe, the second movie.
I mean, it's just kind of like a wait and see. I mean, that movie just ended, like it just ended in theaters, especially the -0 one. Not the minus color version of it, the black and white one, but
Yeah,
so you're well before you're getting a green light in pre-production at that point.
I'm bummed out
Well
I didn't get
outside
to go
of
see that black and white version of the movie. I'm
I
really
just got
bummed.
lucky because I didn't even realize it was in. I was just like, well, I'm in Salt Lake for the night. Like, let me go look at a movie because I want to just sit in the hotel and be bored out of my mind. And I just so happened to be there, and I'm glad I was able to watch it. But like, I definitely hope they release because I think it's the superior version to watch. Like, I haven't watched the color one, but it just feels right in black and white.
Yeah, I I'm so bummed out because I did not like the previous Japanese Godzilla at all. I wasn't a
Oh,
fan.
Shin
I
Godzilla.
did not like Shin
It had a
Godzilla.
lot of
It was
mixed
weird.
reactions.
The
Yeah.
transformation was my problem, right? The
Apparently, it
transformation,
didn't even go through all its. It's got like another like
it
6
didn't.
forms. It's
Yeah,
got like
and
8 total forms to it.
you can buy figures like statues of every single form, including the
It's
ones
weird,
not.
creepy.
I don't like it. Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna get a sequel. It's just too off the wall. And apparently, what other people criticize is just too much of people standing around talking about what to do and not actually doing stuff. That was
yeah.
another criticism that I saw.
But to be fair, that that happened a lot in old Godzilla movies. I can remember the military scenes of constantly of them talking, figuring out how to manage Godzilla, and that's kind of almost like a Godzilla trope at this
But
point.
to
It's
be
like,
fair, that's also like an older era where filmmaking was just done differently and everything's practical effects and like that. So when you do a big scene, that's the big scene because you built this whole massive set. Now you got to destroy it.
so
So I mean,
are you doing a so there's a new screenshot or three screenshots released for Godzilla Kong where King Kong is riding Godzilla.
I think I've seen. I haven't watched the movie that predates that, like the King of Monsters. Like I haven't
You
watched the
haven't
Godzilla
watched King of
movie.
Monsters?
Like before,
I actually like King of
minus
Monsters a lot.
before Godzilla -1, the last movie, a Godzilla movie I had watched, I think was what's it like a Godzilla and Mothra or Godzilla versus? I think it was a Mecha Godzilla movie. It was like the last movie that I watched.
Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2.
Godzilla '99 or 2000 doesn't exist to me, so I don't count that as a Godzilla movie.
But it is canon.
No, I refuse to acknowledge. I will never acknowledge that.
Have you
That's
seen the
just a
scene
spinoff.
of where he flicks him and kills him and literally just like hits him and he's dead?
In what scene?
I think it's in Final Wars. Like you can pull it up. It's like a 20-second scene of 99 Godzilla.
No, because
and
I haven't seen Final Wars, so
Final Wars is really good. I like it. So it was the last it was like the last Godzilla movie to come out for a long time. It was one I think I told you about last week that like flopped because there
I
were
think
so many Godzillas. Came out in 2004. It was the last one we got for a long
yeah, I
time.
think the last Godzilla movie that I actually saw was one of the 80 like I mostly seen like the 70s and 80s movies and stuff like that.
So there is a like 38-second clip on YouTube if you want to watch that and see that scene that I'm talking about. It's hilarious. It's Godzilla Wars, all Zilla scenes. It's 38 seconds long. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, are you gonna you trying to review Godzilla Kong with me? It comes out this month.
If I get around to actually watching the movies that predated, I will. I don't want to go into it not knowing what happened beforehand, even if
Well,
it doesn't really all that matter all that much.
you better get on it then. It comes out this month.
It's like what, 2 movies before it? Like that's an afternoon.
Well, no, because there's Godzilla, then there's Kong, Skull Island, then there's King of Monsters, Kong Skull
Probably just skip
Island.
Skull Island because I don't.
Oh, dude,
I
it's
was
so
never. I was
good.
never a King Kong fan. Like
I,
I'm not gonna lie. I just never cared about King Kong.
I think it's better than the first legendary Godzilla. I didn't like the problem. My problem with that movie is Godzilla is barely in it. You'll like see him through like windows when he's moving, um, through the crushing the buildings, and like you just don't see him very much. And I didn't like that. But King of Monsters is good. It's got a lot of monsters in it though.
Yeah, I'm just Godzilla or King Kong's the only kaiju that I've never actually really liked. I liked all the other ones except for him.
Really?
Well, I mean, yeah, but obviously King Kong's not originally a
Yeah, it
kaiju,
wasn't.
or he's in the Zilla. It's its
It
own separate
wasn't even.
movie.
Yeah, it was always interesting how that worked. The Godzilla, the original Godzilla Kong is so bad. It is so
But I mean,
bad.
King Kong technically predates Godzilla by maybe a decade
Oh
or two. I
yeah,
thought
yeah, yep, yeah.
that's the original King Kong's a really old movie.
Yeah, and I think still holds up. I like it. Did you like Peter Jackson's King Kong?
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
I've never been a King Kong fan. Yeah, because the Godzilla came out in '54. The original King Kong came out in '33.
it's a very old
Like
movie.
that movie predates World War II. Pretty old.
It holds up too. I'm telling you, it holds up. I had it on Blu-ray. Yeah, the original Godzilla Kong movie though. Oh my God, you just look at just the suit for King Kong. Oh Jesus, it is brutal. It is brutal. They'll like be rolling around on the ground and like stuff that a child.
Oh yeah, I pulling up something. It's from '63, so that makes sense. It's all really cheesy. Godzilla just
Very
looks weird in that movie.
Yeah, it's a very weird movie. It used to be on Sci-Fi Channel all the time. That was the first way I watched it.
Some of these old Japanese movies are crazy.
Oh yeah, they are for sure. They are. Crunchyroll confirms testing AI for subtitling.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of talk about that because there's always a lot of criticism of the actual translators when you're dealing with like anime, gaming,
Yeah.
and manga, because there's a lot of claim that you're putting your own personal and political bias in your opinion into some of these translations and stuff like that, and that's been a contentious thing for like a decade plus now at this point. A lot of the fans are they prefer, like they'll go to fan subs because they just don't like certain translators.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
But
Gundam
that also affects video games as well, because it's usually like the same people translating both anime, manga, and video games.
I mean, there's a lot
So
of
anytime a new game from like Japan comes over here, there's a lot of scrutiny on the actual translation of the game, where people try to find like intentional inaccuracies or just intentional, like you changing something for no reason that didn't need to be changed.
Well, like
type thing.
all your base are belong to us. You know the
That's
meme.
just a bad. As much as I love the meme, that's just a bad translation.
Yeah.
Not intent. I'm intentionally changing stuff because I don't like what's in the original.
Yeah, that's
of
stupid.
said product.
Yeah,
that's
you shouldn't.
that's what you're dealing with in a lot of stuff, is people
I didn't know that.
intentionally changing stuff. But yeah, no, that's a forever a major topic, and you can't get into that topic without also getting into politics at the same time.
That makes sense. It says Gundam F90 FF manga ends on March 26th. Never even heard of that one. That's news to me.
I remember was it like an F90 movie or something like that?
Yeah.
I didn't remember there was a manga that was still ongoing.
This one's called FF.
I knew the Gundam Thunderbolt manga was ongoing because I got the first volume, but every time I go to Best Buy, but
Barnes and Noble,
the lowest volume they have is like 15 or something like that. I'm like, great, I can't get any of the actual continuing volume because y'all never have it in stock.
Listen to this.
Frustrates me.
Over 180,000 Helldivers 2 players are storming a single planet and are on track to liberate it in under 24 hours unless Arrowhead's devious DM gets mean again and it says update he did. Do you know what do you know what that's all about?
I don't. I saw that. It's like I guess they're trying to retake a planet they lost or something like that.
Well, what I guess I haven't watched a ton of gameplay, so I don't know the sort of gameplay loop or
Like a four-man squad first person shooter where you just go to a planet and you have to like complete a mission or something like that.
I mean I've seen the screenshots in the trailer and obviously watched the PlayStation State of Play.
I've seen
with
some gameplay, but obviously it's supposed to be like an ever-changing, ever-evolving world. So the developers are constantly, okay, you can win this planet, but periodically we have to push you back. That way, there's always something to do. Because I think the galaxy's kind of they have a finite amount of planets in the galaxy, and they're gonna slowly take away main villains, bring in new people to kind of threaten super Earth and stuff like that. So it's supposed to be like a ever-evolving, ever-changing universe that you're fighting in.
This is so cool. Type in helldivers.io. This is incredible. You get like stats of everything that's happening and the liberations, the player count, the predicted time for whatever, I guess, taking over a planet.
Oh yeah, the
an actual map.
Yeah.
That's this looks so fun.
I think the in-game map's slightly better, but this is dope that somebody has this.
Yeah, this is crazy. The game's not even been out long. There's a whole website for this. That's really cool.
Over time, like this, it's got a really dedicated player base. Like
I can tell.
Definitely get into it.
There's all these players just on these single planets. 38,000 on Malevolent Creek, 16,000 on Draft.
There's like a total. At the same time right now, there's 637,000 players online right now.
That's crazy.
Like that is crazy.
It looks really good. I'm excited to dive into that one at some point. Apparently, this is Helldivers 2 developer responds as a fake game appears on Steam. We urge you to stay clear. And it's Helldivers TM2, like trademark.
Oh, somebody just trying to like take advantage of it and scam people out of money type thing.
There's 2 fake Helldivers 2 games on Steam, both masquerading as Arrowhead's hit shooter in a bid to scam people into buying their product. Huh. I didn't even know that you could. Yeah, it shows like the different prices for. How does that even work? Because I'm not like a avid Steam user. I don't have a PC rig to.
I mean, they just posted a game with the title and probably just trying to deceive people of the actual game.
How does that get on Steam though?
There's a lot of garbage games on Steam. I don't. It's not like the.
Is it like the eShop? Is it kind of like
to some degree? But you can. A lot of stuff's kind of curated by the community, so a lot of those garbage games just don't populate on a lot of the main pages people go to. You kind of have to go out of your way to find those trash games.
Interesting. Yeah.
The actual like home pages and the big pages where you're like, hey, I want to play a game that's like want to play an RPG. All these pages are what you're initially introduced to on like the initial pages is curated. But if you go down far enough, you start going into the shovelware type games. But the Steam page, to some degree, unlike on the Nintendo Online, it's curated to what you're going to see out the gate.
Interesting. This is kind of interesting. It says Tomb Raider Remastered 1 through 3 devs downgrade strangely superior Epic Games version, saying it had work in progress materials that do not represent our final quality expectations.
Well, they didn't want to. From the Epic and the Steam, they probably wanted to look at it. Was somebody uploaded the wrong version, and they didn't want a quality difference across the board.
Yeah, it says
to favor one publisher over the other.
That makes sense. It says the brush up of Lara Croft's classic adventures, Shoot Dinosaurs, has mostly gone down well with fans. We even gave it a very respectable 78. This is on PC Gamer. Turns out it could have been even better if you bought it on the Checking My Notes Epic Game Store. Wait, really? As spotted by several members, the remaster appears to have had two different versions, the one available on Steam and GOG, and the one available on the Epic Game Store.
The
This
one
is
probably uploaded on Epic was probably the wrong version of the game.
that's hilarious. How does that even happen? Uh, yeah,
Somebody's not paying attention. They upload the wrong file.
it says their version of the Palace Midas level was missing its roof. Oh, that's funny.
So they
Interesting.
uploaded a version that they were still working on, the actual one they wanted to be uploaded.
That's what it
Or
sounds
when
like.
they uploaded a wrong update or something to it.
Interesting. Have you seen about the Dark Forces remaster? Star Wars Dark Forces? Oh, you gotta look that up. Yeah, people are raving that. I mean, like, it's a remaster that like really, really looks like a remaster. Like it almost looks to the degree like it
I
could be
mean,
a remake. Like it
I've seen
looks.
that bundle when I was at GameStop of like it had like 6 or 7 old Star Wars games
No,
bundled all together.
this just came out a couple of days ago, but I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, I want to grab that because it has all those games in one package. I want that. It's got the pod racing game in there. It's got oh, I forget what else.
Like
But
the Jedi Academy, it
yeah,
had the
1 and 2.
the one with the dude where it's like Vader's apprentice. Um,
I can't
I don't know what the
remember.
name of it.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember. Um, what is that called? I played it. It was on PC.
Oh, Force Unleashed. It had the Force Unleashed as part of it as well.
Yes.
I think it's the Heritage Package is what it's called.
Yeah, that's a really good bundle. That's a lot of games. I want to get that. I guarantee
So
that bundle doesn't stay in print for very long. I guarantee it goes up.
Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, Force Unleashed, the Old Republic. I think it's the Old Republic 2, the Sith Lords, Republic Command, and the Star Wars Racer.
Yeah, I
So
want that.
It's seven games in one.
That's a good collection. That's a
It was
really
like
good.
I think it was like $60 when I was at GameStop. I didn't pick it up.
I mean,
but,
that's a good
I was
deal
like, oh, that's
because
dope.
they released like 2 packs of some of them that were like standalone by themselves for like $40.
But not all 7 together. I just don't know the actual quality of the actual game in that collection.
I played the pod racing one because I got it from limited run. It's good. It's really good.
Oh, I got the pod racing game on my PC, so why rebuy a game again?
Yeah, that's true.
I have the pod racing game both on now PC and on the 64. So
I mean, don't you want to play it mobile though?
that game's difficult enough sitting still. Like if I'm moving around, it's gonna make some of those levels brutally difficult.
Did you check out the Dark Forces? They look so good, dude. I really want to play that.
Yeah, that looks interesting. I might think about getting it. I think I've played that game before. It came out on the 64, right?
Yeah, the first one did. Yeah, and there's a sequel, I believe. I think it's just Dark Forces 2.
Yeah, I think I've played it before. I think we rented it at one point, but it's been so long. It's like I think I played this game before. Some of the levels probably remind me of it, but
yeah, there is a
I'll,
Star Wars
I'll check it
Jedi
out.
Knight Dark Forces 2. Yeah, so that one I feel like I played that one on PC. The second one, because I don't think the second one came out on 64. I don't.
No, I think the first one did.
I could be wrong, but I don't. I know the first one did for sure.
Because it kind of plays like Doom did. It's just the old shooters like that. But between Doom and GoldenEye and stuff like like they all kind of play very very similar to each other.
Yeah, they do.
Those old first person shooters.
Yeah, they do for sure. It looks pretty interesting though. So Apple Vision Pro headsets are cracking up, and Reddit's already awash with theories about this costly crackgate. So apparently they're cracking. All devices are susceptible to breakage, particularly those that are designed to be carried around with you on a regular basis. However, you'd hope that a $3,500 headset would be more robust than most.
Well, I mean, depending on what kind of glass it's made out of. If you're going from extreme hot to extreme cold, it's basic science of expanding and contracting might play a role. But I don't know. I don't know what instance they're cracking in. Are you just being a bad user and you're just manhandling it too hard?
Yeah, that I mean, you have to take that into consideration that people aren't taking care of it, and
Like it might crack, but you might not be taking proper care of it. You might be throwing it on the ground like an idiot.
yeah, I mean, people are always gonna like not take care of crap.
So like I need to know like exactly what instance did it crack in.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So we've got. You find any other news or any other hot topics?
Nothing major that I've seen. It's not that wasn't the biggest week for not non-gaming news that I've seen.
Yeah, I was curious to see if there's anything else to cover on that side of things.
So I don't like as far as I know, there's nothing major to cover on that end. Unless there's something else that you saw.
I was looking to make sure and check and see if there's anything there, but I am excited this month for the new Godzilla. So you gotta watch those other ones because it comes out really soon.
I know there's some good games that come out this month. One of which is that
Oh yeah, yeah.
that Samurai Girl game I think comes out later this month as well.
What new releases do we have for this month? Actually,
Let me pull it up to double check. I don't want to try to go off my memory. I'd rather actually pull some up just to make sure. So I was trying to think if there's any big ones. I pulled up the GameSpot stuff.
yeah, I completely forgot about checking about new releases because I'm trying to think of what else comes out this month. I mean, obviously you got Final Fantasy yesterday, so that's
So I
not
guess
this
you got
month.
Unicorn Lord comes out for sure on
Yeah,
the 8th. Then that's when we talked
I
about
thought about emailing
that.
about a code for that game because I want to check it out.
The Contra Gulag game comes out on the 12th. And if I'm missing a big game, it's just because I don't know. Obviously, on the 21st, Horizon Forbidden West comes to the PC. The complete edition comes to PC. You got Dragon's Dogma 2 comes out on the 22nd. The same
Ooh,
thing.
yeah, that comes out this
the
month.
Princess Peach Showtime comes out that same day.
Oh, but I thought that was April. Okay, all
No,
right.
that
One I'm
comes out this
grabbing
month.
for sure. Have you seen the gameplay for that?
I've seen a little bit of it.
It looks really fun. Looks really fun. I like the power up and the whole like premise of it. Kind of different.
Yeah, you get the South Park Snow Days that comes out on the 26th. Though I didn't like how it looked.
No, I didn't either.
Oh, it's Stellar Blade was what I think, but that didn't come out till April 26th.
That's gonna be a big one.
That's a long wait for that game. That's definitely one that it's like when it comes out, I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, I want to play it too.
I mean, there's a lot of games that come out this month. From what I looked at, not a whole lot are like super big games.
I'm pretty excited for the Princess Peach and obviously Contra. What else came out on the 22nd with Princess Peach? What was it?
The Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah, I mean
the one
that's
they talked about with the it's got adult content or whatever. Kind of
Yeah.
something to be expected, but
yeah, that's a big one there. That's a big one. Do you plan on playing that one?
probably not right away. But I'll look into it when it comes out and see if it's something that I do want to play.
Yeah, it seems like it would be the type of game that you would like based on the other two that I played. Like just knowing like games that you enjoy it, I think that you would like it. I mean, consider if this one's good, of course. Like the other two
the Hi-Fi Rush comes out on the 19th of this month as well. Like I missed that one.
for Switch.
Yeah.
Or for no, is that one's not coming to Switch, right? PlayStation.
I'm not sure. The site I'm looking at doesn't tell me off the top of my head.
Because it's already it's a Microsoft game. So that
apparently the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection comes out on the 14th.
What's that include?
Let me pull it.
Oh, the Battlefront. Sorry. So that's
I think it's the original Battlefront games, like the original Battlefront 1 and 2. But let me pull up just to be sure.
Yeah, that comes out this month.
Yes, on the 13th.
Oh heck yeah, yeah, and it's got online multiplayer.
Yeah, it's the original Battlefront 1 and 2, not EA's bastardization of those games.
To absolutely terrible. It's smart to have these two release in a remaster collection because they're amazing games. Absolutely love them.
Yeah, nothing major that actually jumps out as like a major game. I mean, there's other games, but I think they're a little bit more on the smaller side.
Right.
Unless you're a WWE fan that comes out on the 8th.
Not necessarily. I think you are though, right?
I'm not a fighting. No, I don't like fake wrestling. I'm sorry.
I can't remember. Do you like horror movies?
I hate horror movies. I don't like the
I
horror
thought
movie genre at all.
I thought you didn't. Well, that's a bummer. There's going to be
Yeah,
a
I know. I'm sorry to
new
burst that bubble.
Arrowverse star Melissa Benoist comments on the DC Universe's new Supergirl. There's a new Supergirl?
There's
Oh,
always
dang.
a new game coming out.
No, well, this isn't a game. This is a live action.
Oh yeah, the movie.
Yeah. It says
yeah, no.
Millie Alcock's Supergirl will draw inspiration from the Women of Tomorrow comic by Tom King. Interesting. Yeah, the actress, it looks like it kind of fit. She's from Game of Thrones, Melissa Benoist or something. It looks like, I don't know. It's got a Game of Thrones picture next to it, so kind of
Yeah, it's
interesting.
probably she's most well known for.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, this has been it's been a fun episode.
Yeah, I know. I guess we had a Cats for Nelson stop by.
Oh,
Said they were just stopping by just before bed, but
thanks
the tail end of the show
yeah.
at this point. Appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, thanks. Cats for Nelson's been super supportive and is a channel member now.
Also had a Typhoon Hector stop by as well. Just a little bit of while, asking how everyone's night was going.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Sitting here, talk about random stuff. Not a lot of news that came out this week, so kind of hitting a limit for how long we could talk about some of that stuff.
Yeah, just trying to hit some other stuff, and we talked a little bit about some movies, and then talked about some anime, talked about some manga, some Yu-Gi-Oh, and told some old stories. Got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, some of the anime you talk about. I know we talked about some of the anime movies that had just been coming out recently. Because I think it was the Gundam Seed movie. I guess it's I don't remember what it's called. But there was a volleyball movie that beat out the
Haikyuu.
Yeah, Haikyuu beat out the I'm blanking on the name of the show.
Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer movie. I was killing me. I couldn't think of what it was.
Well,
yeah,
that's
okay.
that.
There's just some other random stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you have a favorite anime, Brandon?
That's a good question.
I mean, mine outright is very easy. It's Tenchi Muyo, the OVA series.
Yeah, no, mine is between two. It's Yu Yu Hakusho and Rurouni Kenshin. Always, those are my two favorites of all time. It's just I have a hard time figuring out which one. I feel like I lean more towards Rurouni Kenshin, but I love Yu Yu Hakusho, man. I love it.
They're both good shows. It's always a good rewatch for Yu Yu Hakusho every few years.
Yeah, I love it. And there's a lot of good Yu Yu video games too. There was one I played on GBA called Spirit Tournament, and that was really, really fun. Like I know there's one on PS2. Where else was there? I can't remember. But there's some good ones. So
yeah,
for sure.
I'm just a fan of the older ones for sure. But unless you had anything else that you want to talk about, Brandon.
Well, I think we're good for episode 74. Appreciate everybody watching. Of course, you can support us on Patreon. We've got all our links for social media in the description. And if you become a channel member, I'm going to have a exclusive video coming out for you guys in a few days, as well as some videos before everybody else that's going to be coming out. There's a lot of cool perks there. There's going to be discounts on merch, all that fun stuff. We just need 3 more channel members, and we can have 10 people featured on the front page. Right now, we can't have members featured until there's 10. So as soon as that happens, we can have channel members featured, which will be really awesome. I guess you can gift channel members, so keep that in mind. But appreciate everybody watching and listening, and we'll be back again next week. See y'all later.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all's support.